lad that Carl was taking the place of there. Name the actor, not the character.
And just email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
You can win yourself.
You gotta be fast.
You can win yourself a VHS edition of Billy Elliot worth £4.99 price. I'm going to leave the sticker on, which has actually got the price on.
Brilliant.
I'll leave that on so you know just what you've got in your hand.
Foo Fighters. No, it's not.
Feeder.
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 Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing now. Why have we got to stop? Sorry, we just had an argument then. Why have we got to stop at 5-2?
It's just the football's on, isn't it?
So what can we do? We do a link here, and then we can play.
We'll talk here. We'll play a song. Do a little.
What about
chat.
the competition? We got to announce the competition.
Well, Steve.
Well, I can tell you right now that there's only 2 people, it would appear, that are interested in a VHS copy of Billy Elliot. That's how mediocre that gift and that prize is, Carl. I don't know if you want to learn from that. But I'm going to give this one to MJ McKay, who has correctly identified that you were taking the part of Jamie Bell in Billy Elliot. So, well done.
Right, just forward me that and I'll
sort that out.
we'll get the video.
What film are you doing next week?
Dunno, I've got been out and bought a couple, got Silence of the Lambs I can do something with.
Right.
Bought Fight Club, but it's a bit difficult. You know, always open to suggestions and that, so if you got any favourite films
What about the 1930s film Freaks?
Oh,
Can't wait. I cannot wait for your...
brilliant, that'd be good.
Excited about that.
Why don't you do a film review of that next week as well?
Yeah, well, it depends if the fella, you know, if anyone's got it, just send it in. I'll send it you back once I've watched it. So that'd be good. Next week we'll do.
Oh, please tell me there's going to be more Cheapest Chimps.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
We'll see what the press say. We'll see what the press say about that.
Looking forward to that.
Do you know, like, you're always having a go at my ideas?
Yeah.
Little,
Yeah.
you know, Cheapest Chimps you put down.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I normally come up with these because you don't come up with a competition idea.
Sure. Yeah.
He's done him again.
Yeah.
Well, Cheapest Chimps, mine, you're dissing it.
Yep.
Rockbusters, one of the most successful competitions ever.
Uh-huh.
And he means in the world, not just
Yeah.
on XFM.
Yeah.
You put that down.
Yep.
Right. What are you thinking about this, right? I was watching Comic Relief last night. Came up with an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You get Jono.
Okay. John
Right.
O'Coleman, yeah.
Say Vanessa Feltz.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe, you know, Dawn French, because she'd be around for that. And then get them all in a room for Comic Relief. And what you do, put a cake in front of them.
Yeah.
Right? And like, you don't feed them. And like, they're going, oh, I'd love a bit of that cake. Right? It's called Famine Academy.
Right.
Right? Whilst they lose pounds, they get pounds.
Right.
What do you think?
Play a record, Carl.
Well,
I love it.
again.
I love
Do you
it,
know what I
Carl.
mean? Yet again.
I love it.
Oh, that's them Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they can't stop. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. You're listening to XFM 104.9. Coming through today, it's noisy again out there.
It's a nightmare.
A lot of people marching up and down.
What's that about?
Well, from what I can work out, there's hundreds of them, millions of them, and they're all shouting really loudly. What do we want? Peace. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Peace. I want to go, shush. We all want a bit of peace on a Saturday.
Yes.
Keep it down.
Please, I can barely hear myself think.
I know. And he's not listening. Tony's not listening. He can't hear from there.
You may as well give up. He's not listening. There was 1 million of you last time. It didn't do anything.
Hey, but Steve, there's no attitude. You know what? I couldn't find Boy George's War is Stupid, so here's a bit of Dylan. Bob Dylan. The times, they are a-changing.
The thing is, Rick, it makes me wonder if the times, are they changing? I mean, it seems to me that life's pretty much the same as it was way back in the 60s when Bob Dylan wrote that song.
Got any idea what you're talking about?
No idea whatsoever.
You
Rick.
don't really know about politics, do you?
Know anything about it. Don't even read the papers. Got no interest, really.
Yeah.
Not particularly informed. My life's cushy. Won some awards and stuff. Doesn't bother me. So,
On a serious note, though, it is a bit worrying. I want somebody to put my... Do I have to get gas masks or something?
No, because there are guys out there in Leicester Square today wearing novelty hats. If they don't sort this war out, then no one can.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about it.
You would worry about it.
I would worry about it.
Well, you, maybe Steve.
Why?
Sort of people who are successful are worrying about it more than other people. Just
Go
because
on.
well, they've got more to lose, haven't they?
Right.
No, do you know what I mean? You see, like, Bruce Willis on the telly saying, oh, it's not good, is it? And it's because he's got a big house and loads of cars. If you live, you know, on a council estate, it's like, well, if it gets bombed, probably doing us all a favour, we'll get nice new blocks of flats to live in and that. It happened with Manchester, with the bomb that happened, and they bombed the Arndale Centre. Did us a favour. Got a nice new Marks and Spencers and that.
So hold on, this puts a whole new twist to the argument when people say bombing the world's poorest countries is wrong. Because I remember when the Afghan problem was on, people were saying bombing the world's poorest country is wrong, but it's like home improvement, according to you, then.
Yeah. Because they've got a brand new B&Q, have they, over there? They're popping down there every Sunday.
Anyway, let's not go on about it.
Yes.
Well, think what you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
My family was killed, but look, a carpet warehouse.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think, you know, people don't want to hear about this today from us. They want to hear, you know, the new features, the songs of phrase.
What song's a phrase?
It's the feature we started last week, where we take clips of songs, we make up a phrase from the show.
I mean, a famous phrase, last week's world famous phrase was, there's this airy Chinese kid, you'll remember.
Yes.
Well, it was called Crosswords last week, but Phil emailed in a good suggestion and said call it Songs of Phrase.
Brilliant. Songs of phrase. Songs of phrase, but perfect.
So
are we still going with Cheapest Chimps?
We're persevering with that, aren't we?
Got some Cheapest Chimp. We'll be doing that before 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Great.
Again, who else can say that?
So good. So for the next 2 hours, everyone should just bury their head in the sand, ignore the world's problems, and enjoy features such as Cheapest Chimps and songs of phrase.
And a bit of cheering breaks.
Oh, class.
Trying to stop suddenly in Italy. TB. Cheering breaks. It's like a rockbuster, Carl.
The good old days.
I know, yeah. Painkiller on XFM 104.9. But look, Rockbusters is gone. Forget Rockbusters. Long live Songs of Phrase. Over to you, Carl.
Alright, well...
You know, Rockbusters was one of the things they were protesting about last time. that was why I just had to listen to them. They just kept stopping me in the street as I was trying to get to the tube. You've got to stop Rockbusters, it's run out of steam, they said, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's why they always do it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
They make their way to Leicester Square for 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Right.
Songs of Phrase. What it is...
Songs of Phrase.
We took a phrase from the show last week. It was, there's this airy Chinese kid, right? Today, we're going back to the good old line of, about you never see an old man eating a Twix.
Sure.
Right?
How long is that?
No, you'll never see an old man eating a Twix.
You'll never see an old man eating a Twix.
It's not as many as you think, though. It's not that many.
Well, how is it not that many?
Right, well, first of all, anyway, don't worry about that. I think there's about 5, I think. Hang on a minute.
Oh, God. Why do we leave him alone to do this,
I don't
Steve?
understand.
So, I mean, it's like, I'll tell you what, we were flying there.
Six different songs.
6 different songs.
That's a lot to get, Carl.
But what happened is, I couldn't find a song with Twix, so we've changed the chocolate.
Oh, this is rubbish. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. No, you've got to be punished. We're not doing this. Do it next
No,
week.
you'll like it.
No, shut up, Carl. No, just
Well,
start to... No, we're
He's
not
put a
doing
lot
it.
of effort in.
So what?
You're right.
He's got to do it right. He's got to do it right.
Yeah.
There's too many. We said too many. It's not... He's changed the thing. It's not a one-off face. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely pointless.
Rick, if only his parents had spoken like that to him sometimes in the past,
Do you know what I
maybe
mean?
we wouldn't
Right.
be in this discussion
You're not
now.
doing
Oh,
it.
come on.
No, we're not doing it. Steve, what do you think?
I'll tell you, we've got the prizes, but I'm
Yeah.
not even going to bother giving. I'm not even going to
no,
bother.
no,
I think we'll just share it out amongst
Right,
homeless.
absolutely. No. There's troubles in the world, and I'm not going to let you faff around doing nonsense like that. It's ridiculous.
Well, let's do it for
No,
next
let's
week.
play a beautiful song. What do you think?
I'd love to hear a great song.
Yeah, the times they are changing. We've said that. Look at
Rick, I
Mother
think it's one
Nature
bit to
on the run. Look at Mother Nature on the run, Steve.
Yeah.
Play it.
So we're not doing...
No.
It's your own fault.
Neil Young.
Beautiful.
After the Gold Rush, one of the most beautiful, poignant songs ever. I
Great
think.
lyrics in that. Look at Mother Nature on the run in the 1970s. Forget the 1970s, Rick. I'm beginning to wonder if that's just as truthful nowadays in the year
I've told you
2003.
before, you've got no idea, you don't know anything about the world or politics, so
I don't know why you persist.
I don't know why I keep saying it myself, Rick. I'm a political incompetent. I don't know why I keep spouting on with this drivel.
Right.
It's The Guardian, I think, that's doing it to me. It's all second-hand information. I just read it in there, and I just
So it
think
was a good idea to
I
get
keep
on
thinking,
the-
exactly. I keep
Get on the
thinking I can pass it
bandwagon.
off.
You don't
Yeah.
really care, do you, about anything in the world, really, as long as it doesn't affect you?
I haven't exactly.
Yeah.
Unless I'm
No.
personally affected by these
Yeah.
things, I don't care less.
Well, I'm the same. Now, Carl, the big question, as we know at the moment, is whether we're going to let you do songs of phrase or not.
Rick, I should tell you now, there has been a flood of... Oh, no, there hasn't. Sorry, I was thinking there'd been a flood of emails, but people agreeing with you, Rick.
I know Tony Blair has been trying to get through.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just checking the emails now. There's absolutely nothing supporting you,
So
Carl.
no one gives a side either way about
No, well, no,
that,
that's not
then?
fair. There were a couple of phone calls, weren't there? One was a guy saying you should. I think the other one was you, Carl. Was it phoning from the kitchen?
Can we do it? Can we do it? Right.
No.
If you don't like it, we won't do it next week. But
But
the fact that I made it.
I don't know why you did that. I thought of lots of stuff that you could do. You chose one where you have to have 10 words and 6 songs to choose. You haven't got Twix. I don't know what you've substituted Twix for.
Okay, I mean, I've got to say now, I'm going to sit on the fence here. I'm quite intrigued.
Okay, right. What
hear it.
have you substituted Twix for?
Well, I can't
Well,
tell you.
here.
Of course you can.
No, I can't because people have to listen to it and work out.
All right, let's just
No.
hear it. Let's hear it then.
No. They know what. They have to know what the word is. They have to tell what the song is or the
I
artist.
prefer just to play it.
No, you've got to tell them what it is because they might not even know what word they're
I think
looking
you should
for.
let's hear him out. Rick,
Right.
please,
Right.
democracy, that's what we're fighting for. Come on.
Right, you turn them up.
Right. Okay, I'll put the headphones on. Go on then.
Okay, so right, hang on, the phrase originally was...
Is you never see an old man eating a Twix.
Right, and we're trying to identify a number of songs which you've used to make up that phrase.
And you email in xfm.co.uk/Ricky with as many as you can get, and whoever gets the most right can
It's
win some
so
stuff.
complicated. This is
It's
so
not.
complicated.
Right, here we go. Here we
I'm
go.
baffled by the email address. I couldn't figure
What's
that
the
out.
email address again?
xfm.co.uk/Ricky.
Right.
Right?
And there's some link on there, is there? That,
Yeah, that you just press and it comes through. Or isn't that? Right, here we go then, right?
Well, I missed a little bit at the end. Let's hear it again, let's hear it again.
Mars, ba, ba, ba.
Let's hear it again. Oh, no,
Oh, God. Okay. Right, we'd say the prizes, Steve.
Right, so how many songs were there? Do we know?
I think it was 6.
You think there was 6?
And you'll never see an old man eat. Oh, it might be 5.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Anyway, why not email in the answers and how many there were, and you might be in with a chance of winning on DVD the original series of Citizen Smith with Robert Lindsay. That was good. Paul Whitehouse's Happiness, the first series of that on DVD. We've also got a couple of CDs here. The Best of Britpop, Live Forever, Oasis, Blur, Radiohead, and all the rest of them
That's
on there.
alright.
Supergrass's current album as well.
That's
I
alright.
think it's a current album. Yeah, it is. And
Okay.
less convinced by this one. If I tell you that some of the artists include Delamitri and Deacon Blue, then I know you'll be rushing out later, Rick, to buy this. Scotland Rocks. A compilation of...
Is Wet 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 on there?
let's see.
what
the
about
Wets-
Biss? What happened to Biss?
Let me see, I'm not gonna... I tell you, it doesn't... I mean, we've got Gun on there.
Oh, yeah.
We've got
baby, lately.
Aztec Camera.
Yeah.
Big Country, obviously.
Proclaimer's not on there.
Wait a minute, where's Runrig? There they are. There they are. And obviously Rafferty, Baker Street. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Brilliant.
So that's definitely worth entering for, surely.
So xfm.co.uk/Ricky. Play it one more time.
Yeah.
Just in, right.
Class, pure class. Well done. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
let's go
good. Oasis. Stop Crying Your Heart Out on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Stephen Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Carl's competition is in full swing now. I just will remind you, when playing songs of phrase and trying to guess the songs and artists, what do you want, songs or artists?
I think songs.
Yeah.
Alright.
But that's ambiguous, isn't it, what a song title is? Where
Yeah, I
if you
think
know
it should
the
be
artist,
artists, definitely.
maybe the artist cleans it up really. Yeah?
Yeah.
Should we do
Artists.
Okay, you know, if they know what it is, because that'll stop any ambiguity, won't it? And don't worry if you haven't got all of them, because the winner last week didn't have all of them, but it's the closest one. I understand when you're trying to guess what's in Carl's minds, you can only get so close.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He wants us to bring in Darren Brown. You go, because he won't be able to read my mind. And
Yeah.
I think he's right.
I think he might
I
be.
think he's the one person that could outwit Darren Brown.
Yeah.
Now, moving on, Carl.
Well,
we have to.
shall we just play it very quickly? Just play again.
Just if
Carl's
you're okay,
competition?
want to join in. Go on then, one more time. Here it is, Songs of Phrase. Because you have to get, you know, it is very difficult. So, you know, song or artist, we give points if you're close to any of those, and we'll choose a winner. So, you know, do
And what do points mean? Crap prizes.
XFM
xfm.co.uk slash Ricky.
Ricky. Right now, we got people to send in a little thing for you last week, didn't we? The film Freaks. You
little
got a few.
treat.
You got a few sent in. You watched it, did you?
Yeah.
Now, I should just point out that the film Freaks, for those that don't know, was a movie that was released, I think, in the... Well, actually, it was originally made in about 1932, something like that, and then it was
Banned for
delayed.
about
It was
50
banned
years.
for many years, because it did, in actual fact, feature, for want of a better phrase, real-life freaks.
Yeah.
The bearded ladies being one of the more kind of familiar
There's
ones.
a guy
and
without
there's
arms and
a guy
legs.
without arms, there's all sorts. And it was actually it's quite a tender film, isn't it? And actually portrays them as a kind of dysfunctional family. It's not exploitative in that sense. But what do you make of it, Carl?
Well, you were watching it for the Freaks, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I wish it does take a while to get onto it.
What do you mean?
Well, straight away I was disappointed, right? Because at the start, like, you put it in, it's like, oh, brilliant. Here we go, you know, I said to Suzanne, we'll watch this, we'll have a good night.
Yeah. Have a romantic night.
That's it, her birthday. You've got your gloves, now we're going to watch some Freaks.
So, put it on, and it starts off, and it's like, you know, the following film, you think, oh, it's like following films rated 15, which means, you know, might contain scenes of violence, bad language and sex.
Yeah.
Mention nothing about pinheads.
Right.
So I thought they missed a trick there.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought, well, let's go and watch it.
And what
that's-
exactly is a pinhead?
Oh, if you've seen it, you know.
Okay.
Right, so not the best thing in it either. So
Oh.
imagine that.
Okay, so you're watching it.
So sat there, I think, right, something comes on, and the little fella's on there, the little fella we were talking about, the Pillow Man.
Right.
Is it the best thing in it?
Now, what's the Pillow Man again?
He's a fella who years ago, he's got no arms and legs.
Right. He's just a torso.
Just
and a
rolls,
head.
yeah. And there's a scene where you see him sort of rolling a cigarette up, just using his mouth, and it's
Yeah.
like he lights it and stuff. And that's weird. And then what else is on it?
So I can stand your growth.
And then there's a little fella on it who is fed up because he looks 5, but he's actually 34.
Right.
Right? But there's a woman who is 42 and looked 8. So they both had the opposite thing. They were both really fed up. And I kind of thought that shows that, you know, you always want what someone else has got.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So in
yeah.
a way, there's a story there in that.
No, you described the same there.
No, it was like,
No, they both, you just said, they both looked young, but they are actually both older.
no. This was like a little man
Yeah. Who was
looked-
35
who was 35.
and looked 8,
Yeah.
and so did she.
No, well, the other way round then.
What? So she was an 8-year-old that looked 35?
Yeah. So, oh, maybe not then.
Anyway,
No.
But that wasn't that weird. I kind of thought it's a slow start on that.
Yeah.
And then,
It's not a difficult film to follow.
no.
yeah, but I wasn't really listening to what it's all about, just looking at what they had. And they had like a fella who's running about on just,
Ed, look, he was shopping.
you know, they had a fella with no legs and he's running about on his hands and sort of got about on a skateboard, talking to someone about it. They said that's how E.T. was done. There's actually a little fella in E.T.
Right.
who's just half of, sort of half a body.
Is that true?
I've no idea. I've never heard that
Why
before.
haven't we heard that before?
I've never heard that before.
I don't think he would fit in E.T. Because he's
I
got
think-
no. Because where's the head? He's got no neck. E.T. It's a skinny little thing. There's no human neck couldn't fit in that skinny little neck.
You sure it wasn't Kenny Baker up to his old tricks?
What are you talking about, Carl? There's a fella with no legs in E.T.
In E.T. they had two fellas, right? I think they had a little, a midget fella,
Right.
who did it, and then I think he was off sick, and they were like, oh, You know, what else were you going to do?
So they saw a guy on a skateboard going by.
And said, do you fancy some work?
Right.
And he's done it. I think someone told me. I mean, it might be wrong.
Exactly.
Might be wrong.
You might be, mightn't it? I mean, you've never been wrong before, so I don't know why you'd be wrong there.
What
So
else
what's the
was it?
worst thing in it?
Now, it's intriguing to me because here's a film called Freaks, featuring real-life freaks, and you're sort of a bit nonplussed by it.
Just because it wasn't, because it's built up. If you call a video Freaks, you've got to make sure that there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
What were you disappointed about? Was it that?
Because there was a few things on it, right? There was a woman who said she was half man, half woman, and it's like, well, you're not, are you? It was just like she had some makeup on. I thought, well, that's rubbish. And then there was a woman who could eat using her feet. That isn't that freaky. Do you know what I mean? If she's not hungry, she looks normal. And that's when I was thinking. I mean, I'm not being right, Steve. You know, I'm not being funny.
Oh, here we go.
No. But I'm just saying. If that woman wasn't eating and you were sat next to her in that film,
Yeah.
I'd probably be sort of drawn to you more than her. I'm not. I know you hate me saying it, but there's no point sort of pretending. Do you know what I mean?
Oi, Nutley, what are you sniggering about?
Face. Well, you mean there were things in it that were less... What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
Play a record. Seriously, I'll slap you. I'm going to slap you live on air.
Yeah, but you always get.
Right, I'm slapping you live on air. I swear to God.
Alright, play a song then.
It's playing song.
I'll play the song.
Bruce Springsteen, Atlantic City from the album Nebraska.
So melancholy, that one. I love that one. Wow. So Freaks then. All in all, not as amazing as you first hoped.
It was built up too much. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
It's like
Is that
films.
is that my fault for getting you excited? I just can't
Probably.
believe it. I hand you this thing on a plate. So
I know,
you're-
but-
yeah.
And I'm not being out of order, Steve. I'm
Sure.
just being honest. We've always said that about this show. We
Yeah,
only talk
yeah.
about stuff, you know,
Yeah.
that you know, being honest and that.
Yeah, no, sure.
And I've always said the first time I saw you.
Sure, no, you've always been honest,
Do you
and
know
I've
what I
always
mean?
been honest with you. I've always said that, you know, you've got the intelligence and insight of a gnat.
Yeah, but if I keep quiet, people don't know that.
Sure.
Alright,
Incredibly, they do, Carl, because you look stupid as well.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
No, but Carl was being nice then. You don't.
I'm just saying you're a good bloke, and now I've got to know you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time was weird when I saw
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
No,
And
leave
then-
it. Don't just try to interrupt. Just link it.
No,
away.
no, I'm just saying the
Okay.
first time
Yeah.
it was weird and that, and then weeks go by.
And you- okay.
And the weird thing is, I kind of thought maybe he's not that odd looking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you went to LA for 3 weeks.
Sure.
And when you came back, it was like the first time again.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No, I just-
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. No. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Right, everyone,
but-
stop it now.
That
No,
doesn't-
but I just think I'm a little bit more consistent because I've always thought you were an idiot.
I don't want this. Don't argue. He was just okay.
No, I just, you know, you know what I mean? My opinion has never changed. I've always thought you're an idiot.
No, it's
that's
just
been a
all
through line.
nice. Let's look. Peace.
Shut
not
up,
war.
Fatso.
Peace, not war.
He's just such a stirrer, isn't he? He loves it. I don't think I didn't see you whispering behind the microphone about what to say to
Look what
Carl.
I've just drawn, Carl, subconsciously.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I drew a picture of him. It's not going to be on the website.
Stop being on the website.
No, it's going to be. I drew a little cartoon of him. No, not yours. I'll do one of Carl. Right, okay. What were we talking about? That was a...
So yeah, no, the
Touchy
Freaks thing
moment.
was over and done with. It was all right if you want to get it out on video.
Sure.
You know, it's probably worth a look. There's a couple of things on there that get you thinking more. You know, it's like how their life is and stuff. Do you know what I mean? How it's affected, and like the little pillow man, or the fella who's got half of his body missing.
Yeah.
You know, it's stuff like that you think, oh.
But what's the one that was disappointing? You said it was a half man, half woman.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that one.
Do you mean hermaphrodite or half? I can't remember it. Do you mean it was one sort of like it had bits of both?
It was just like half a face done in makeup and long hair, then on the other side it had it shaved.
I love the idea that you go to this circus and there's people in there that have been sort of persecuted all their life and they think, well, maybe I can make some money, and then you boo them because they're not freakish enough. I love the idea they go, boo, you're not freakish enough, boo. Oh, you've got bits of legs, boo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there was, I mean, talking about that, you see, why did they join the circus and that? Because there are things they can do. I was telling you in the week that I was reading something on some news website about some sort of Olympic-style games where they're going to see, like, disabled people against able-bodied.
Right. Let's be careful here, shall we?
No, I'm just saying, though.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So there is other things. It doesn't mean just because you haven't got legs you can't do other stuff.
Yeah.
And in this race, there's, like, disabled people who are beating able-bodied people.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
Would you go and see that? I don't know.
But I mean, it depends. What do you mean? They're beating them? What? At what?
He didn't state what the little races were and that.
Little races. Does that help himself? No, little races. Oh look, there's the disabled with their little races.
Yeah, they're having another little race.
Oh dear.
Would you go? Would you go? Watch that.
Do you remember when Jimmy thought that Paralympics stood for Paraplegic Olympics?
The Paralympics.
Yeah, it means parallel Olympics.
Yeah.
He thought it meant Paraplegic Olympics. That would be a good site, wouldn't it? Mainly blow football.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, what was that thing I told you to look up in the week?
You were saying, I don't believe you. Were going on about, we were talking about the half man, half woman,
Yeah.
and you were saying,
You can get a sex change on the NHS just to see what you say about that. Did you look it up?
I didn't, because I think I was wasting my time. I don't think you
I'm
can
giving
have
all
that
these things. Little play
Interesting
records.
stuff.
You're annoying
No,
me
but
now.
you wouldn't do that. You did. You see,
You've
the other
annoyed,
thing
you've
we're
annoyed
talking about-
Steve. You've annoyed Steve on air.
I'm sorry about that.
Well, it's just too late, Carl.
But we were talking about other stuff as well. I mean, you know, talking about operations and that. You were saying, you know, can you have a sex change done on the NHS and that?
No, you can.
Well, you say you can. I think that's a bit. It's not that important to have done, I don't think.
Well, it depends if you desperately want it. It depends if you feel that you're born actually a different sex.
Right? And then you went on to say there's other things that are done. Get this, Steve. Someone, if the cat's got a bad liver,
Kidney.
right, bad kidney, can have it done for £5 grand.
Yeah, you can have a kidney operation.
But what's wrong with that? If you've got £5 grand you want to waste it on the cat, then fine.
Get another one. We went through loads of cats, I've told you before, as a kid, we got through loads. It's not worth it, and there's no cat that is that amazing that you'd go, gonna miss that one, it's never gonna be the same, because
What do you mean? What would it have to be able to do to be worth it? Well, it's nothing to do with people's affection for their cat. They've had the pet for many years. What do you mean? It should be able to juggle or do impressions, and that's why it's worth £5 grand?
Supposing there was a fella, right? He feels he was born a woman. He's not happy, right? He doesn't want this he's got a knob and a couple of testicles that he does not want, right? He wants a lovely pair of tits and a minge, right? And he finds out that he gets a cut price. He gets, you know, a cut price sort of operation, a dodgy backstreet transsexual maker, right? £5 grand, knockdown price £5 grand. It's done with a blunt knife and some chloroform, right? But
why have you got to have it all done?
what? You mean just like have the knob trimmed and wear a bra?
Well, yeah, I mean, are you saying if you have it all done you get some sort of offer, if you give them something?
No, I was being flippant. I'm saying I was trying to get down to £5 grand. Supposing there was a fella, he had £5 grand to give away, right? Some old woman with her cat is going to die, or some fella who wants his knob chopped off and a lovely pair of tits put on. Who would you give the £5 grand to?
So, hang on a minute, so there's a fella who wants to be a
Jesus.
woman,
Yeah,
and there's a woman who's got an ill cat.
yeah.
This is Adam and Joe on XFM. So this week on Channel 4 at 11:40, it's a new series.
You see, I'd be annoyed. Is this £5 grand? Is this my savings, or...?
No, just you get given £5 grand, and you go, but you've got to give it to a charity of your choice, and it's got to be one of them. You give him
Right, I'll
£5
tell you
grand.
what I'd do.
What?
I'd find out what the cat looks like, get a replacement, right? Say it's had the op. She's loving it, thinking it's happy again.
Yeah.
Give the fella the money.
Right.
Tuesday the 10th.
You know what I mean?
Well, so you're basically saying that
Oh, well done, man.
you'd rather have the bloke have his knob cut off and stuff than
I'd
save
have
the
to have a
cat.
chat with him first and say, what's your problem? And say, why do you need this doing? And
I think they go through that. I think they go to counselling and live with a woman for
like a second opinion thing. I'd just be saying, right, are you sure?
Yeah.
But £5 grand on a cat,
It would be modern toss. There's some
even, it can only be for people who have got loads of money, right? and it's like, well, £5 it's nothing.
Well, I think this debate will rage on. Should we play a record and come back to this? Think about it, though.
Yeah. Bit of White Stripes.
Placebo, Bitter End on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Carl, you're looking all flustered and confused again.
Still sort of don't get it.
What don't you get?
Well, that's a long list, Rick.
Yeah,
You know, if you have your...
knock off.
Yeah.
It's because they feel like they're actually born a woman, and they're not living right. They can't live properly with all these things. You know. Well, I mean, there are people that are genetically the other gender. They've just grown. You know, there was one woman actually who was a scientist researching it and found out genetically she was a man. She had Y chromosomes. Well, this is something different. This is both psychological and everything
Well,
else.
sometimes it's that thing again, isn't it? You can't always have, you know, what you want. It's like I'd like to have hair. Do you know what I mean?
But it's a bit easier. You can wear a wig. You can't go around really. Well, you can put on, you know, false breasts and tuck it in.
That's just it as well, isn't it? You see, you say, you know, you could have the operation done and that, and yeah, you might sort of feel as free as a woman down below and that, but at the end of the day, you still look like a fella.
Yeah, here's a bra and a split tennis ball.
No,
They'd be just like Auntie Nora.
do you know what I mean, though?
Well, yeah, but it's about their outward appearance as well and how they feel publicly. Don't forget, a transsexual is not a transvestite. This isn't just a builder in a dress. They have hormone replacement as well, so they get estrogen, so they and electrolysis, so they have, you know, their face looks different. They don't go bald. They're slighter. They you know what I mean? They're the real thing. A transsexual is now the real thing, biologically and politically and.
But they'll still be a man, won't they?
Well, it'd be embarrassing if they don't tell their new partner and there's pictures of them, you know, down the pub when they were 24. But you probably sort of get over that, don't you? They go, who's the fellow with the beard drinking the yard of ale? That was me.
Well, interesting story. Probably should have told you this before the honeymoon.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you can have done, right? There's stuff, you know, you can have your bits done, right? You can have, like, false teeth, but you know that when you see an old person with a good set of teeth, it's like, well, they're false. There's no way you've got good teeth like that if you were brought up in, like, the 30s.
But what would you do if Suzanne said, look, I've got a terrible secret, and she showed you a picture of this kid, this little boy, growing up, you know, playing football, and then the picture stopped at 20, just before you met her, and she goes, and she shows you a nice pair of bollocks in a jar, she goes, they were mine.
Well, first thing is he'd take back the gloves he bought her last week.
Would you go, oh, I can't go out with you now? Or would you say, well, you're the same person? I've blown his mind. I really have freaked him out there.
She is into sport.
So there we go.
Should we play a record while you give her a call?
No, but look, what I'm saying is here, right, it doesn't matter what you have done, we can wrap this up here, because I've got it sorted, right?
Okay.
Doesn't matter what you have done, at the end of the day, it's obvious that you've had it done. If you're a fella and you've been changed to a woman, I could spot you, right? If...
You can't though.
I tell you what, I was at Suzanne's mum and dad's right up north last week, and I went to the off licence, right? And I went in there, never seen this fella before, right? As soon as I walk in, I eye him up behind the counter and go, alright mate.
Oh, hello.
I notice he's got a wig on, right?
Yeah.
Now, it was, I kind of looked and I thought, yeah, it's a wig, whatever. And then I thought, I wonder if it is, and as I got to the till, I said, how much is that? He said, you know, 50 pence. I said, great. And as he turned to the till...
Were you buying Suzanne a gift?
As he turned to the till and he did that sort of angle, you got the profile, you see the bit sticking out of the back, you go, that's a wig.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's like a little. It just the last inch just lifts away from the neck.
Yeah. Now, everybody who goes in that shop will probably know him as having a wig and that. He keeps him happy, but everybody knows. So, what I'm saying is, it's like...
But could I just say, transsexuals put in a little bit more effort than a fella who's plonked a rug on top and held it down with some duct tape. Do you know what I mean? You know, the only giveaway often with a transsexual is the big hand. trans. They can't do anything about that. That's the only thing, you know. But I mean, transvestites are different. You know, they are builders in the dress. You go in a supermarket, you turn around, you see a 6-foot woman, huge head. You go, all right, love. Do you know what I mean? You know, down below, she's packing more than us 3 put together.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know what I mean? That's one thing. If Eddie Izzard, right? You're meeting Eddie Izzard, right? Who likes to pop on a dress now and again, right? What's the politics with that? Do you go, as he walks in, he's all in evening gown, and he goes, all right, Carl, and you go, all right, Eddie, and it's in a busy pub, and you go, oh, what is he? And you go, do you say, do you want a pint of bitter? And slap him on the back like with him, or do you go, that's lovely, that's a lovely dress? Do you know what I mean? What do you do? What do you do with a transvestite?
Would you compliment a transvestite
On their lovely dress?
if he was wearing a nice dress? In the same way that you would if Suzanne was wearing
Probably
a
in a
nice
different way. I'd probably say that dress, you know, looks nice. Be even nicer on a woman.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So you try and change the way they think.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd want to teach them a lesson.
yeah.
Sure.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's just it's one of them things I can't get my head around, to be honest. Right, I can handle hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it true to say that you've never been able to handle a transvestite?
So I'm just going to add that to the list then, Carl, of things you can't figure out. It's like 4 volumes. Snoop Doggy Dogg, obviously, in the classic What's My Name?
Yes. XFM 104.9. We've done that, so that's good. We've done.
So we've solved the whole transvestism issue.
Yeah, let me just check. We've done hairy Chinese kids, people having their knobs cut off.
I think we touched on the war as well. We've
We've
sorted
done
that out.
that. We've done freaks, haven't we? We've done freaks with no arms and legs, haven't we?
Take that.
Just don't think there's any other areas of possible offence.
Have we done Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin? Well, we touched on your Auntie Nora, but haven't mentioned her for 5 minutes, or showing you her clunge. Hold on, let me see. I don't know if we might have.
I'd definitely like to hear the word clunge more often on this show.
Her Mary.
Oh,
Leave
euphemisms.
that.
Mary.
I'm still none the wiser on that, but we'll leave it.
I love the fact you are such a you're such an old man, aren't you? You're such a reactionary old man, the way you talk. You are the sort of bloke, I imagine you and your father stood in a pub, if a man came in a dress, oi, you're a bloke in a dress, take it off.
We were
Or get out
talking,
the pub.
I realised last week we were talking about things that you can sort of say and do when you're sort of like 40. I thought another one, nod to a policeman.
Yep, definitely.
They're on the beat, they're going along, you're going your duty, you're going on, yeah, I know you're alright, I know you're alright.
Yeah.
Never mind these youngsters shouting at you and knocking your cap off.
Exactly.
It's that you can nod at
If
a
you're
copper.
40, you can nod at a copper because it's like going, I know what you're up to. It's a difficult job, and you're doing it well.
Yeah, I respect you now. I didn't when I was
Exactly.
young, I know what I was thinking of. Well done, mate.
Well, I like the one you mentioned last week. You're now of an age where a van driver might ask you to back him into a parking space.
Yeah, well, you don't feel, you go, get out
To
of
me,
the way.
he wouldn't even consider
No,
it.
get out of the way. Yeah.
If you're under 30, you don't even consider. It's like I was thinking today, if I was in a pub with my dad and say his mates, and they're all sort of 40 or 50, there is not one of them that would turn to me first with a pint of bitter and go, taste that, see if is that off?
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't want
would
your
never
opinion.
consider me. My
Yeah,
opinion is the
yeah.
last one they're interested in.
Yeah.
Is that off?
Things you can do over, I think, maybe 50. Wear a flat cap and not like a flat.
Yeah.
You know, you're wearing
It's
it
a
because your
fashion
head's
statement.
cold.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wearing it because your head's cold. You're 50 years old, flat cap, fine.
Yeah, or just wear a suit and tie without having to go to an event or a convention
Just
or
get
to
up
work.
and pop on a little old suit and
Just
tie.
pop on a suit and tie.
I'll tell you what, I love seeing old boys in a suit on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've got shiny shoes and they're 75.
I've got
and they go
photographs.
down the pub and I think it's brilliant.
I got photographs of one of my late grandfathers, he must have been in his 60s, on the beach, wearing a suit. Wearing a suit on the beach. I think I got a feeling he's even got a knotted handkerchief and a full 3-piece suit.
That's great.
It's brilliant.
It's a decency
Because
all
my
time.
grandfather, in my mind, my grandfather was always wearing a suit. I never saw
probably
him not wearing a
was.
suit. I think he wore a suit to bed. I can't imagine taking that suit off. It was always...
Maybe it was an all-in-one, pull-on one.
But he didn't, I mean, what the weird thing is though, it wasn't like he worked in a bank all his life. I think he was a builder. And then he retired and thought, it's time I should start wearing a suit.
I know, oh, I love it. I just, you know what I mean? It's because they've got to do something then. They've got to get up and they make an effort and they're, you know, they're still part of the world. As opposed to me already just walking around in my pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's no point in getting dressed, I'm not going out.
Yeah.
Or everything's got an elasticated waistband.
Yeah, you don't even consider a pair of trousers.
It's slip-on shoes, pull-on trousers, just,
I have never seen a man with more Velcro in his closet. That has got to be for you the best time-saving device ever. Velcro.
It's great. Just me and a baby girl, a dry white baby. I went to the
Your
awards.
tuxedo got Velcro.
Well, I was still talking about that, the award show. I went home. When did we stay there? We went to, 12 or something. Anyway, I went home, and I was watching telly at the end, right, and, I was eating, I had these sesame seeds, 'cause I was hungry. I had a few. And, in the end, at the bottom of this jar of sesame seeds, right, there's tiny little seeds. But I didn't want to waste them, so I sort of poured them into my mouth and sort of like ate them like millet, like a budgie binging. I went to bed, got up the next day, I thought, I felt a bit sweaty, I had a resolve. And there was loads of seeds still in my chest.
What, in the hair on your chest?
Yeah, I had to pick them out. It took me ages to pick them out before I had a bath. So they must have stayed there all night, but not with the, you know, with the cheese and alcohol that was coming through my pores. These seeds, well, they started growing. I'd have to mow my chest. Oh dear.
Your girlfriend's a lucky woman.
Sesame seed chest. What we got, Carl?
Oh, do you remember we were also talking about, names you cannot call kids now? It's like there are certain
I was
names.
thinking that, like, there's great old blokes' names, but they have to be a baby once.
Yeah, but
I name this child Alf.
you can.
Stan.
There are sort of these names which you just never name a child now. I mean, Carl, frankly, is.
Oh, that's all right.
This is quite
Carl's
friendly.
good. Oh, but Sid.
Alf Sid. You would never name a child Sid. Stan.
Bert. I name this child Bert.
Did I ever tell you about my Uncle Alf?
No.
He wasn't a proper uncle, right? But he was just
he an aunt?
one of my dad's mates, and that. And he was getting on a bit. He must have been about 60, which is pretty old when you're younger and that. And he was the same. He used to always wear a suit and that, but he was never in good nick. It was always like a rough suit, but it doesn't matter. He's still, making half the effort and that.
Yeah.
And he used to sleep in a dinghy. Right, Uncle Alf.
What? In his house?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, in a flat, he's in like a little bed sit. Because he only had a little bed sit, and he was into boats and stuff. So he had this
Two birds with one stone.
Had this little dinghy, had a little flat, thought, well, it's tight space and that. He had a dinghy as a bed, and he had two tellies, right? He had two tellies, one that the sound worked on, the other one only the vision worked. So if you wanted to watch a programme,
You had to turn both on.
put them both on like BBC One, turned one up, and watched the other one.
Wow. That's extraordinary.
From his dinghy?
Sat in his dinghy.
That is brilliant.
It was an inflatable thing. It wasn't like a wooden.
Yeah, an inflatable one, yeah, big inflatable
Did you ever go around and visit him?
Yeah, now and again.
Was it weird seeing a 60-year-old bloke in a suit in a dinghy inside watching two tellies?
It's weird at the time, I thought.
Which of the TVs stopped working properly first? I mean, did he? Let's say the sound went on one of them.
Yeah.
Did he carry on watching the other one, hoping that the other one was fine? Or
No, he
did
went and got a new telly, and then the vision went on that, and he went, oh no. He went, hold on then, wait a minute, I've got another telly in the wardrobe that I haven't used it, it must have been like that.
Okay, how are you doing?
Wow, he sounds brilliant. Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still around, yeah. I haven't seen him for years, but he used to,
Was he married?
I think that's what happened. I think his wife passed away, and that's when he had all this, he had a boat. And it's like, oh, where am I going to put it in a bed sit? And it was like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sleep in that. So, yeah.
I wonder if he ever brought any women back.
Yes.
Just the idea of bringing them back, getting down to it. Shall we move into the bedroom?
Ahoy! Oh, that is fantastic. Missy Elliott, Gossip Folks on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington. Now I know we're not meant to mention the adverts, and I'm not slagging off the advert. Is that National Lottery advert with the little Welsh fella saying your money from the National Lottery goes towards Mountain Rescue, and put it out there, we've saved a lot of people. Now that's fine, that's great, well done. What I'm annoyed at is why those people are allowed to go up the mountain in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't go up there, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You're at your own risk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's ridiculous. Just posh, beardy twats climbing mountains and sticking a flag up there. Why climb? I don't want you to. I don't want you to.
Am I paying, is there at any point, Rick, where I am paying for people to get rescued from mountains?
I'm not sure. I think the lottery's doing it now.
Fine, because I'll tell you, if it was my money, I would be living.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? I mean,
You should have to take out insurance if you want to climb up a mountain.
you should pay for it. If we save you, it'll cost a lot of money. You owe you. I'll be paying it back for the rest of your life. That's the risk.
Yeah.
Not falling to your death.
Exactly.
But never being overpaid. They're all posh and rich anyway. But it's just like a cat gets stuck up a tree and the farmer come out because he doesn't know any better. Imagine if that was a bloke. I'm again. Stop going up there.
Well, that's what I'm saying again, though. It's only a cat, so leave it up there. Get another one.
And there's the skeleton of Tiddles. I couldn't be bothered to go and get a ladder.
No, but it's the same. A few weeks ago, everyone was making a fuss over that sheep. That was the first cloned sheep, and it died. Clone another one.
Oh, wow.
If only you could do the same with mountaineers.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks
Or,
the same. The beard's the same. They all look like Brian Blessed.
Yeah, exactly. Did I ever tell you about the time that my father, when I was younger, we went on holiday, my dad he bought a little boat, little sort of wooden boat, like a 3-seater, and he and a friend of his went out with me in the boat. I was maybe 12 or 13. Went out, we sort of we were on we had a little motor, outboard motor, chugging out. We just thought we thought this was real seafaring stuff.
Brilliant.
We'd lost sight of the beach because we'd gone round a corner of like a mountain, or like a like a cliff, and so we were just round the corner, and there was this boy just floating in the water, not a boy, but you know, like a boy, and very tricky to explain that on the radio. It's the same word, isn't it? Boy, a boy, and
Yeah,
a boy.
yeah.
And so we float past that and we're just chugging along. The motor conks out. Oh, I can't believe it. We have to row back in. So they're rowing away. I'm just sat there, and we noticed that every time we sort of think we've got past this buoy, it just seems to be back where it started again. We realised that the tide is taking us to, but not taking us out, taking us towards these rocks, and we've got ravaged rocks, and we were a bit pretty scared because I can't swim very well. Or I couldn't at the time. I think my dad had maybe bought. You know, he didn't. I'll be honest with you. I inherited a lot of things from him. One of which was his carefulness with money. just the one life jacket.
How deep was the water?
Which I seem to remember he tore off my back and put on himself. So the water's pretty. I mean, I'm not saying we would have necessarily died, but it was pretty scary because the boat, we were going to go crashing into these rocks and stuff. It was getting pretty unnerving, and so they're sort of rowing like mad, trying to get. We're just not making any progress, and we're beginning to think that this might be the end. And this boat, this kind of ferry boat, comes chugging by doing tours, ching 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 ching, and it comes by, and my dad goes, "Oh wow!" We were going, brilliant, they can help us. They'll throw us a rope, they'll tow us back in. He was going, "You got to be careful, though, hang on, because according to the laws of the sea, if he rescues us, Steve, he can claim my boat." The laws of the sea mean he can claim my boat as salvage. That's like a reward. What I like is his 12-year-old son might die. He's thinking about the boat.
I know, but also the other thing, of course, is that I like the idea of this ferry master going,
Yeah.
the boat be mine now, or take your son.
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
I need a new bed. That'll be just right. King size.
Oh dear, that's lovely.
So we've done a lot of stuff today. We've covered.
We've done Arnott's Minge, we've done, what else have we done? We've done Chop Your Bollocks Off for Free.
Yeah. We've done the operation to £5 which I'm not happy about.
Yeah, leave the cat up there.
Spend money.
We've done most stuff, I think. We've done a lot. We still haven't done Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin, but we can leave that till next week if you want.
See, I still think there's something in the spending money in areas that it's not needed. Like, the fella, if you haven't, if you've only just tuned in, you've missed a debate about a fella who needs his tackle taken off.
A debate makes it sound like it was a bit more informed than it actually was.
Well, and I'm just, all that time, that was probably half an hour ago, and I've still been thinking about other things that it would be good if more money could be ploughed into things to get them out there.
Like what?
Do you know what I mean? Well, I was looking, I'm a fan of going on the web and that.
Sure.
And there's inventions, right? We were talking about a few weeks ago, inventions that are out there, and there's some that, are well known by famous people who have brought stuff out.
Do you know why we didn't go on with this? Because I remember saying to you about Einstein, who clearly thinks clever, you weren't impressed with it. I said Einstein, and you went, this is a quote, you went Einstein, well yeah. Now, I've never needed, you got it wrong, you went, I've never needed MC squared in my life, but the fella who made the video recorder, I watch one a week. Right. Brilliant.
And it's the fact that everybody's got one good idea in them.
Yeah.
Right? Like Newton said about the apple.
Yeah.
I did Rockbusters. Right? And there was this thing that was on the website.
So they shouldn't be spending money on investigating sort of medical procedures that might help people. They should be spending it on what, Carl?
I found this thing, right, Ricky? Brilliant.
Yeah.
What it was,
I gave him a brand new Millennium
little sort of mops. Little mops, like little mopheads.
Like floor mops?
Yeah.
Right. Your list of things you're worried about Star Wars.
Fit them on your cat feet. If you've got a cat, right? If you've got a little cat, put these little things on the feet, and there was a picture of one, just like walking around the kitchen, like that, looking a bit like that.
Nick, you can't do looking like that on the radio.
No, well, it's just looking a bit sort of fed up, but he didn't really know what was going on. Walking around, you see like the woman of the house sat in the background having a cup of tea. The cat's there walking about on the kitchen lino, mopping the floor. That's what I put my money into.
Can we get shares in this?
So that's an invention.
How good is that?
Yeah.
Can we get shares in that?
This is Adam and Joe on XFM.
It's good though, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, I'll market that. If so, yeah, that's amazing. I just like the idea of people struggling with their cat to get. Hold on though, wait a minute.
then, I'd say-
What if it had a bad kidney?
Ah, well then it's worth paying £5,000.
I suppose a year, because it'd cost a cleaner that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's loads of other things out there that gets loads
Of
of
course, you can stick a brush in its head and make it go down the toilet. It'll be genius, Carl.
No, but there's loads. You see, you say that if Newton came up with it, you'd be loving it, and there'd be loads of them out there, and everything, right? That's what annoys
Imagine
me.
Newton coming up with that. Imagine Newton coming up with that, Carl. Think of it.
Well, there's other things that gets loads of praise. Penicillin. Everyone, who came up with that? Who came up with that?
Fleming, was it?
Yeah, so just covered it on a...
Right, I'm 30. Don't think I've ever used it. I've had Nurofen and Benylin. Right, so there's one thing. What's something else I was talking to you about?
Oh god, you like video? Okay, so video recording.
Telescope was another thing you seem to think's important.
Well, no, you asked me about great inventors. I know someone, so I said Alexander Graham Bell, the telephone, everything from that, linked from that. John Logie Baird, television, Marconi, the radio. I said Galileo. I was naming you stuff. It wasn't that. I was just saying that I think those things are more important than Rockbusters. I think they're better ideas.
Telescope, even telescope.
Carl, play a record, because there's a website, I must try and find it during this record, it's got loads of inventions, I think you're going to love. Vicious from Lou Reed, always a joy.
XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington.
Carl, someone pointed me in the direction of this website, and basically, I swear to God, these are real inventions, okay, that real inventors have, applied for patents for, you know, so that they own the copyright.
Why don't I come up with one, a real one,
Yeah.
and then you do that
Well, I
one,
think some
and,
of
and
these-
Carl has to vote on which thinks the better invention.
I think some of these, Carl, you are going to be absolutely excited by. If you love the little mops that go on cats' feet, I think you'll be
Okay,
excited
well, I'll
by
throw
some
one
of
up to start with. Have you got one there ready?
Yeah.
The X-ray machine.
Alright.
Oh.
So we've got the X-ray machine on the one
X-ray
side.
machine, Carl. Think of that.
So, you've come to me
It
with this
doesn't need.
idea.
It goes through a painting, so it doesn't need light. It excites. It can. You know, well, we know. You know what an X-ray
So
machine
what's
can do.
happening is, right, I'm sort of head of some business, I've got a load of money.
Yeah.
You're coming to me with an idea.
Yeah.
And Steve's coming with me to an idea. I've got, say, £5,000 and
I've come with you. I said, look, I can do transrectal operation. You go, I'm not interested. I said, my cat needs a kidney operation. You go, I'm not interested. Right? I've come with you with an X-ray. Meanwhile, Steve walks in with.
Well, firstly, I'm going to offer you, this is patent 5571247. You've got the X-ray machine. I'm going to come to you with the self-containing enclosure for protection from killer bees.
as if they use silver.
Tell me more.
All right. Well, it's like a self-containing enclosure for protection from killer bees, comprising an enclosure formed of a flexible, transparent plastic material, basically that will protect us from any killer bees that might be in the area.
Oh dear, I'm gonna move on to
Useful?
So I'm very worried about the woodcutters. I think they look rubbish.
Yeah.
Don't decide yet. Okay, I'll come up with another one.
They do.
Refrigeration.
Concerns about
Refrigeration.
But my third
The combination toy dog and vacuum cleaner. Let me read a bit more, don't judge yet. A toy dog closely resembling a real dog and having a hollow interior in which is mounted a vacuum cleaner having a suction hose which is retractable from the tail end of the dog. This enables vacuuming a dog after a haircut and grooming without causing fear to the dog because it thinks another dog is in the room.
Sorry. This is a decoy dog to make the dog not realise it's being vacuumed, thinking it's making a friend.
There's a picture of it.
Carl.
Do you see what we're talking about there? That's a dog
yeah.
that looks... It's a fake dog, but
Also,
it's like-
do you see that why the cat with the mops is on Steve's side, and why sort of X-rays, refrigeration, things like that are on my side, and Newton's and MC squared as you. Can you see the difference in these can you see the pattern emerging and the difference?
Yeah, but you see, to me,
Which are you impressed by? Are you impressed by the sanitary appliance for birds? Have a look at it. It's, if you've got a domestic bird, maybe a budgerigar or something, but you're tired of it crapping everywhere, these are very tiny nappies that go on a
That
pet...
is real, isn't it?
Pet... Look, there's a picture, there's a diagram
Can I
there.
put the microwave up against that one? I know I need the big guns to come out now.
Oh, what are you thinking? I know you're
Budgie
excited.
nappies or the microwave?
it's weird because
Carl, are you tired of petting your dog or cat? I bet you are. That's why you need this patent pet petter. It is an arm on a piece of wood that will go up and down and stroke and pet your dog for you if you've not got time to do it.
Well, I can only put up interferon, the cancer cure against that one.
Exactly.
yeah. You see, a lot of these things,
These are all genuine inventions.
yeah, and if the time was right, we'd say, get them made. Do you know what I mean? If there was a bad swarm in London, I'd be saying, get the bee man on.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, lose the X-ray machines. I don't care about broken bones for now.
Well, at that moment in time, that would be more important than... Do you know what I mean? We know people have been stung, we don't need to look inside them.
Sure,
Do you know what I mean? It's all about... It's like the telescope now. Isn't it impressive?
sure.
If you want to see something in the distance, get on the transport and go and see it. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to look at things in the distance.
Well, I see
Sure.
what you're
Whereas
saying.
budgerigars are shitting and pissing all over people's homes.
Could we put these? I'll tell you what, Carl. So it's looking at supernova and trying to find out more about the universe. Its conception and its eventual end.
Forget that, Rick, because I've got the cheese-filtered cigarette.
Oh, now tell me more.
This is a cigarette where the filter is actually made from cheese. Apparently cheese acts as a very good filter for tobacco, so the smoke passes through the cheese, thus you will induce a kind of smoky cheese.
And also, smoking, might make you a little bit peckish, and you can just nibble that, so there's no dog end lying around the pavement. Or budgie shit. It's a cleaner place, and you haven't been stung.
Brilliant. Right, now listen, so that's that done.
Yeah,
We've done that as well.
yeah.
We're running out of time, we've got like 5 minutes left. Winner for Songs of Phrase.
Alright, give us the answers.
Right. We did this at the start, we haven't even got time for the film thing today. Oh. But we'll do that next week. Songs of Phrase, it was a phrase you never see an old man eating a Twix.
I love the fact that we haven't we've had such important stuff and it's been so jam-packed and interesting. Not that it's been drivel with gaps we could have filled much better.
Yeah.
Don't look at it like that, like, oh.
With his film quiz. Come on.
Oh, dear.
Songs of Phrase, you never see an old man eating a Twix. We had to change it to Mars Bar. Here's what we had. Jerry and the Pacemakers, Echo and the Bunnymen, something like that.
David Bowie.
And the Beach Boys finished.
Oh, what do you mean I thought that one was? What do you mean? Who's the winner? Oh, it doesn't matter. You got to give the answer. Who was that one you didn't know it was us?
It was Neil Young, wasn't
Jim Crochet, is it? Old Man
yeah.
River, it's called. Jim Crochet.
Old Man River?
Yeah.
Jim Crochet sang Old Man River? I don't think so. What was it?
Who cares? Right.
Well, people, I can't believe this.
Old Man River, it was.
Let's give the prize to.
Crochet wouldn't have sung Old Man River.
Or let's give the.
Paul Robeson.
Let's give the prize to Mitchell Sterling, who has got some of the answers right.
On XFM 104.9.
We'll be playing that great quiz again next week.
Next week. Ricky Gervais with it on XFM Sports. And if you want to send an email, it's rickygervais.co.uk, or check out the website on XFM's All the Cons. Good night, 3:30. Coming up is Harold Levine and Stoopy Nouns.
And it was in fact Bex came up with Moochie Woo and Kabam. No, Moochie Woo Kabam.
Placebo,
Came up with Clary
The Bitter
Roll,
End on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me is both Stephen Merchant and Carl, the K-Man, Pilkington. So you've already got that. That's safe. It's only 4 minutes past. You've had Placebo and you've got us three. So
You're definitely going home with that.
yeah,
Whatever
that's safe. That's on its way to the hospice.
Exactly, you banked that.
Yeah. Now, do you want to gamble all that to go on and listen for another 2 hours? Well, you could walk away now and you're up.
Yeah, you're already up.
Right, that's brilliant.
You have not wasted any time.
Do you want to gamble that against another 2 hours? It might be shoddy, it might go downhill, but it might get even better, Carl. What do you say they do? Listen for another 2 hours?
If Bot had a kind of pronounced
See, we shouldn't have done that.
We shouldn't have asked Carl, because a lot of them now are already taking what they've got. And what they've got is great, Rick. What they've got is lovely.
Yeah.
They're loving that. They're going to enjoy that.
We have got monkey news. We've got cheap as chimps. That's not the same thing. How many radio stations have got two ain't related simian features?
Rick, can I point out now, a lot of people are making that mistake. A lot of people are thinking that monkey news is exactly the same as cheap as chimps.
It's not.
Let's keep
It's
that
not.
clear.
It's not. It's in the same ballpark, but it's not the same.
They're involved.
They're involved. Yeah. We've also got some great music. Yeah. We've got an amusing sketch about a fly. And Mystique is dropping in.
Let's hope the Mystique ladies are coming in. Singing
I want to kick off with a song that is, you've got like half a dozen posing songs that when you're sort of like between 14 and 18, they were the ones you'd put on to get ready to go out, or just pose around, or be that pop star, or think you're on stage, or whatever, or in the video. And embarrassingly, I dug this out, and I remembered I used to post this like a mother when I was about 14, right? It's his Street Life by Roxy Music. He used to do...
Mine was Oops Upside Your Head.
Yeah.
It was just me on the floor in my bedroom. One day there'll be other people in this imaginary pose.
yeah. Elbows going everywhere, knocking over vases.
But then I remember later it was Black Lace's Superman, which is something similar. Do you remember that? That was brilliant.
Wow.
Spray, ski,
If you've out there in Radioland got any funny jokes, then call in.
email them in, because we need some.
Street Life, Roxy Music off the Stranded album. That's why I used to jump around to it.
What would you have been wearing while you were listening to that?
Well, probably Brutus Gold jeans.
Classy.
Or green flash pumps.
Sure. Any socks?
I had socks, yeah. I'd have probably been wearing the shirt my mum got me from Tesco's, which was again a Brutus shirt. And it had women in bikinis eating bananas on a chaise longue.
Lots of small ones? Or just one big
lots of little small ones. Yeah, so so that was that.
A trilby?
I didn't wear a trilby.
toy with a trilby?
I remember when I went on holiday about that time, and I was about 14. My older brother had this leather jacket, and I was on the beach. Just in the shorts and that, and I went to get an ice cream or something. I said, "Can I borrow a jacket?" And I put his jacket on, and I was frozen on the beach, thinking they are all looking at me because I look so good. And I also had a straw Stetson, and I really thought, yeah, I'm turning into quite a man.
Yes, I'm quite a catch.
Yeah. Just thinking, they're looking at it, going, "Who's that dude? Is he American? Is it? Hold on, has he just come from some sort of rodeo?"
Wait a minute, I'm in a bikini and I like bananas. I could be the woman for him.
Oh dear.
What was that? Didn't you have a t-shirt or jacket or something you wore to university? That was pretty classy. Didn't it have like some some foul language on it or something? What was that?
Yeah, I had, when I was, this was when I was 18, right, the Christmas, or no, the birthday before I went to, university, got 2 sweatshirts, one black, one red, had bullshit on them. Just done a little proud. Alright, and the red one, all my clothes, the first wash, everything was pink. All my white shirts and my white socks, of course, because I just put it in, I didn't know. Yeah. So I was a man at university with all pink clothes except for a rather nice red sweatshirt with bullshit on it. Again, turning into quite a man.
Was that pre or post the time you washed your clothes by getting in the bath? And
That was pre. That was the second year when I was had to go and dig at our Halls residence. So I had a bath, and you had to sort of like pay for a bath, you know. So I thought 2 birds with 1 stone. I got in the bath with all my white shirts. So I was going through sort of, you know, wearing a white shirt and tie, that sort of, you know, David Sylvian sort of frying pan, and Daz, and I just wriggled around in it, washed myself. It's quite a good exfoliant. Yeah, I didn't do it again because it was sort of not good for the skin. Daz.
Quite sore, is it? Around
Yeah. So there you go, Roxy Music and Street Life. Carl, thoughts?
I just was working out time really. Last week we had a lot of stuff that we didn't manage to cram in,
which was good.
So I'm just looking at we have got Cheap as Chimps coming. Songs of Phrase.
Oh, we haven't
some stuff.
Why don't we kick off with that so we don't forget it? Cheap as Chimps or Songs of Phrase or the film thing? We need to get the film done.
We've also got a new feature, Cheeky Freak of the Week.
Incidentally, I should just point out now that someone has, Ashley Phillips has emailed in, because obviously with Songs of Phrase, what Carl does, for those who have not heard it, he takes a phrase that you might hear commonly on the show, and then he uses various
There's this
songs.
hairy Chinese kid. You never see an old bloke eating a Mars bar.
And as I say, uses different chunks of songs, and he makes up that phrase. And so he has made some suggestions here, Carl, because he thinks that the more common "Carl, you're an idiot, fool," etc., perhaps a little overheard, he'd like to maybe hear Carl. Pause. I don't know where to start, which is a common one from Ricky. Carl, which bit of that do you actually think is true? And then there's the regular dialogue between the 3 of us. Carl, well, you know, it could happen. Me, sure. Ricky, no, Carl, it could never happen. Not now, not ever. You're an idiot, play a record. So maybe some of those you could use next time.
Well, will we get it going then, today?
Yeah.
This week, we're, do you remember the story about my auntie having wind for 5 minutes? Yeah?
Your auntie Nora?
Auntie Nora, she was on a lot of medication and stuff, and I think that's a side effect that comes with it. So, she had wind for 5 minutes, so I thought we'd dig that one out. A classic line, me auntie had wind for 5 minutes. Okay. So I've got loads of songs here.
How many is that?
Me auntie had wind for 5 minutes, 7 tracks.
Oh, that's tricky.
Why do you learn?
Okay, so you need to identify, if you can be bothered, the artists. That's what we're after, isn't it?
Alright?
Okay.
We'll play it a few times.
Just remember, as many as you can get, because the winner would probably be, you know, who gets 5 or something. So don't worry if there's a couple you can't get, because you could still probably win. Go on.
Again.
Can I just, what's the email address?
It's, well, if they go to xfm.co.uk/Ricky, they can just send them through there and that.
Send them through that way. Which of these is the prize bag? That's the one, is it, Carl? Alright, so let's see what hot treats you could win. As I get them out, Carl, do you want to play it once more?
I recognise all of them except one.
Yeah.
Right, let's see what we've got here. Once again, Carl, you excelled yourself with an arbitrary collection of DVDs.
Just hanging around, were they?
Just hanging around. Again, I'm always interested to know which of our XFM listeners has tastes as broad as this.
Go on.
We've got the recent BBC adaptation of The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Brilliant.
Okay, very nice. We've got, what's this? Is this the... This is, something involving Air, the band Air. I think it's a single at best. This is probably worth having. This is the current Flaming Lips album, so you've excelled yourself there, actually, Carl. That's not bad. An XFM Mouse Mat. There was common as muck.
Oh, hold on. You can't give away that mouse mat. It's a piece of foam.
Now, I was going to dismiss the oddball sci-fi movie K-Pax, featuring Kevin Spacey and Jeff Bridges, but Carl, is it signed by Kevin Spacey?
It's signed, yeah. It's an actual... So win that and put it on eBay, £4.50.
And, Man alive.
What is that?
Just look at their faces.
No! Carl! Don't give that. No one wants that unless it's ironic.
Series 1 and 2 on DVD of popular northern-based sitcom Bread.
Buy it, sell it, the game's getting hard. Because someone's dealing you a losing card. They all had a go. All the actors had a line on that song. Oh,
Play the clips again.
Play the clips again. They really want to win it now. I can't believe this hasn't been done before.
It's extraordinary.
Because most of our ideas have.
Well, yeah, that's it. So we're going to have to. 3-0. Well, thanks for calling, Jeff, Adrian, and Jasper. You're very clever men. And you've chosen very well. Can I just play you a snatch?
Verve, Lucky Man on XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, and Carl Pilkington.
The emails, I should point out, aren't flooding in.
No, but it always takes time when they go through the website.
Does it?
Yeah. So they'll be arriving in a bit.
Do you want to play it once more for those that just joined us?
Alright
Brilliant. My auntie had wind for 5 minutes. Brilliant. Gene, name the artist. Rick, I sometimes get off at the Tube at Tottenham Court Road if I want to look at the record shops before I go into XFM. And I always cut through Chinatown.
Oh yeah.
And every time I come to Chinatown, the same thought always strikes me. I always feel like I want to just gather all the little locals, all the little Chinese fellas, just gather them round and just go, guys, in what way is this a town?
It's not, is
This is not, at best, what you've got here is a novelty street.
Yeah, Gerrard Street is not a town,
No,
mate.
it's not a town. You've had this since
Because
like
you've got a
100
little
years. It's not
pagoda.
expanding.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't just call it Chinatown and claim it's a town.
If I was them though and you stood there, I go, what are you talking about? It is a town, it is a town, it's
What-
our
what
town. It is a town, it's our town, we've got all lots of
Where's
stuff.
your church? Where's your mayor?
We got a betting shop.
Not enough.
It is.
See, all you've got here is restaurants.
No,
That's not town,
no. Got a little supermarket with snacks.
What does it sell?
Snacks.
Specifically, I would imagine crackers.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to buy a dragon? Do you want to buy an ornamental dragon?
If I want to buy one, this is where I.
Do you want to buy a gold dragon?
Is it made of gold?
No, it's made of plastic, but it's sprayed gold. Do you want to buy that?
It's not a town.
It is a
It's
town.
not a town. Yeah. And it annoys me because when I first came to London, I genuinely thought Chinatown was going to be this amazing, what they've got there is
You'd hear a gong and every time we went in there,
and there'd be rickshaws and people walking on those little sort of wooden shoes. You know those ones? They're brilliant. They are just clumping around in them, but nothing. It's nothing. It's just exactly. It just reminds me of have you ever been to any of those sort of museums? You tend to have them up north where they've got like you sort of sit in a little cart and it sort of rides you through kind of it might be
Newcastle
the Victorian era.
Yeah. Can I have half a pound of those sweets, please?
Exactly.
Of course you can.
If there was some animatronic then, it would just be an exhibit.
Yeah. Their concession of being 100 years ago is that there's some scales in the shop and there's a horse outside.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. The traditional sounds and smells of old England.
And the voice of going, of course, there was no television.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant. Yeah.
Haven't they
Welcome to Chinatown.
Ding, 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 ding.
So it's not, it's a good point.
Is that a piece of traditional music? Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Is that some traditional Chinese music, or is that music that someone in this country wrote, thinking it sounded like Chinese
I
music?
think it was the Vapors, wasn't it?
Oh, is that what it is? That's the music. Are you sure they didn't take that from some other source?
it's that pentatonic scale, isn't it? What's it called? It's the black notes on the piano.
Well, that's the one I can play along with EastEnders.
Yeah.
Do you know what I don't get with it?
Go on, Chinatown.
Yeah, Chinatown, because I always walk through it on the way to work. A couple of things annoy me. First of all, I think it's bad business, just because if you've got a Chinese restaurant, put it somewhere where there isn't any others.
It's a good point.
Yeah, but it's also a community. They're not just a theme park for other people.
I remember going out one night with Suzanne and some friends, and you got there and there's so much choice. It's that dilemma of, forget it.
Well, not really.
Somewhere
Specifically to fancy Chinese.
Well, no, because when you go to the one with the dead ducks hanging in the window, that's my
That's the
favourite.
other thing as well. It's like normally you put your good stuff in the window. If that's what's in the window.
Yeah.
And the other thing that annoys me, walking through it today, there's always lard on the floor.
What, in the street?
In the street.
It is, honestly. I'm scared I'm going to slip over. It's because all the restaurants and that. But why is it? That's another point.
Well, it's not oozing out of the restaurant.
No, but why is it? Why is
I
it?
don't know what they do.
Careful. Listen, no, but why is
That's why they used to wear those little wooden shoes.
it? No, okay, look.
The thing is as well, they try and wash it with water, which doesn't work with lard, and it's like oil.
Famously,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Even I know that.
Scrub it.
So,
You think so?
sorted that out.
You think they know, wouldn't you?
Anyway, thanks for your thoughts on Chinatown, Carl.
Right, I'm going to play this thing again, because it is a bit slow today, you know.
Oh, because it's too hard.
It's not too hard, there's just clips of songs. What are the artists? Email in. xfm.co.uk.
He's getting annoyed because he's put the work in and no one's He's getting annoyed! Oh!
Remember, I think Kevin Spacey and the signed K-Pax DVD is probably the only incentive to try and have a go at that one.
Just think you could win by getting one of them.
Exactly. They're coming now. Okay. This is electronic. Electronic, getting away with it.
Definitely. Do you reckon we'll get away with it? So you've worried me now.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've worried me.
My
Oh.
apologies if you're offended at all by my reference to those little wooden shoes. That's not going to help, Rick.
dear.
That Chinese women
dear.
used to wear. I don't know if they still wear them.
We've only had one complaint, haven't we? We got from the
Yeah.
Sony's that one about talking about the swan's penis. But
Yeah.
you know, things about complaints is people complain all the time. It's whether it's upheld because it goes from authority, and then they have to go, oh yeah, look, that was in poor taste or free watershed or whatever.
Some of the things you said on TV, though, you must have been stung.
Well, obviously, I've only had one upheld, one serious slap on the wrist for something I said. But
What was he saying? Can you repeat it?
well, I can. Yeah, I was talking about, and it was a true story. I was talking about this little old man who his daughter was taking him to home because he used to fry up bacon and rub it round his to get the dog to lick them.
Right. And you got a complaint.
Yeah,
And that was it, that's why you got a complaint.
yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, he said it on Songs of Praise.
they said it was in poor taste, I suppose.
What other complaints?
You know the biggest complaint ever on TV, the most complaints ever for anything on TV, was the showing of The Last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah.
Do you know the second? Yeah, the second was I think Anne Robinson putting the Welsh into room 101.
What, because she didn't like him and that?
Yeah, she just said, well, they're going in,
She said it slightly more eloquently than that.
Yeah.
I can the people or the place?
I don't know.
I think it was the place and therefore the people.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
No, well, you know, my mum and dad have sort of moved from Manchester. They've retired now in Wales,
Oh yeah.
and it is
Look at his face, turning his nose up.
no, but it is pretty depressing. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them places that it's like you go back in time and that when you go there. I mean, maybe the major cities there, maybe Cardiff is alright.
What? Even coming from Manchester, it's like going back in time.
It's just, it's like one of them places that it feels like every day is Sunday. Do you know what I mean? It's just depressing and grey and slate
Lots of
everywhere.
vickers walking around going, I'm late.
Well, yeah, it's the sort of attitude they have, right? This is true because my mum and dad live there and that, right? And they love it. It's all right. It's an healthy place to go when you get older and that. But this is why they don't move on in Wales.
Well, I'd just like to make another sorry to any Welsh people listening. We're not saying you don't move on. Carl is.
No, but
Sorry about the little Chinese shooting
the
as
thing
well.
is, it's good that in a way that they do that, and they don't want to be like, you know, rushing about everywhere, because the way London isn't that great either, is it? Because it's totally opposite here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not having a go. It is a bit dull. I think even people who live there will agree with me.
Okay.
Right? But like one of the shops that my mum and dad use, right? It's only a little sort of villagey type shop. Can't be bothered staying open for hours and hours, right? Because there's not enough people use the shop.
Yeah.
So what you do is, they get used to what you buy, and
Leave it out.
they put it in a phone box outside.
They put it in a phone box.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get wet.
So my dad's loving that.
Well,
Once he
yeah.
found that out, it was like brilliant.
But how is that a bad thing? That's brilliant.
Well, it's not for other people. It is for my dad, because he's picking up all sorts of stuff.
Oh
Things-
no, he's not.
Well, yeah.
He's not nicking other people's shopping.
Well, it's not like nicking, is it? Because it's not theirs yet.
Oh, and you've stitched him up on radio.
Well, of course, because they're going to think, who is there in town with a Manc accent?
Who
hangs
keeps,
around a lot, yeah.
keeps making phone calls. And he's getting fatter.
Yeah.
That's
You stitched him
I
right
love
up,
that. I
Carl.
love that your dad was excited when he found out.
I can't believe that he's moved there. He's retired to this little village where it's based on trust and community, and he is abusing it. He's using his scally Manc ways.
Bloody hell, Lakers, no bread again.
There's old women
Was
getting
empty.
hungry.
Yeah.
Their cats aren't getting fed, and your father is just. I can't. That's obscene. That's obscene.
Oh, I think it's Die Thief. That fella from Manchester.
I don't even think they've got Sky there yet, have they? They can't listen. They won't know what's.
I think you stitched him right up. I hope you have, actually. I hope he goes down for it. I hope he's hounded out of the community like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
They should get burning torches, go up to the
Set fire to his cottage.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Well.
He's out of the choir.
Yeah.
Bit of streets.
Original pirate material. You're listening to the streets. Lock down your aerial.
Forget about tomorrow. Feeder. Right. Listener, I'm talking to you now. Have you seen these posters around with me and Steve on it, right? It's embarrassing, right? We were mucking around at a photo session, and XFM wanted to do some posters. We couldn't be bothered to do them again, so we let him have this one. Irony comes back to haunt you, and it looks like I think I'm Simon Temper or something, and Steve's alright. But we think that Carl should be in it.
Definitely.
Carl doesn't want to be in it, but it looks like everyone listens to this show for Carl's, basically, you know, innocent stupidity and some great tracks.
Exactly.
They don't listen for us anymore,
No.
Steve. So I think it should be a campaign to get Carl on the poster.
Yeah. Well, I should point out that I think XFM are more than happy to have him on the poster.
So it's just him.
You don't want to be on there, do you?
There's no need for me to be on it.
Of course there is.
Why not?
I've got so many emails here as I'm sat during the show reading them. So many emails saying what does Carl look like,
Well,
what
if you go
pictures
to
of Carl.
xfm.co.uk/Ricky, we've got those film bits on there, those video mock-ups where I'm part of it. You can sort of.
It's not
see it
enough,
on
Carl.
that.
People want to see your face. You're part of the show. You're an intrinsic part of the show.
Yeah, we'll get you on the poster. Why?
We're too much on a poster. They can only take in so much.
What do you mean?
It's only
It's
taking
good.
so much.
Yeah, it's good with two people.
No.
It's enough.
So what do groups do then?
Well, they haven't.
It's like Ringo Starr is being left off the cover of Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah. Or Rutherford doesn't get in a look in with Genesis.
Exactly.
You know.
It could be outrageous.
Yeah. I'll say, oh, sorry, Tony Banks, you can't be in this one.
Yeah.
It's just me. You will be very. You see, you look like the Collins, so
Yeah,
you've
but
got to be
I
in
don't
there.
photograph that well either.
You're joking. Is it because the you look like a little cue ball because it just shines off the
But a
top?
lot of people as well, you should dispel the myth. A lot of people think for some reason that you're fat. Like, a lot of people say to me, is he fat?
No, but that's because I haven't got much hair, so it looks like my head's big.
No, they haven't even seen you. They just think from listening to the show that you're fat.
That's because you're northern. They think you just eat chips and complain about the weather, complain about the south.
I just think you could answer a lot of your critics.
Yeah.
But then you see what I don't like about this world. A lot of people judge people on the way they look.
Oh,
Like
hey.
you
If there's only more people thought like that, Steve.
But Carl, you judge people on the way they look.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean, but I couldn't with me, could I? Because I don't know what I look like.
What?
If I was listening to me on the radio, I wouldn't be able to say, oh, he's a, you know, and slag me off and that, because I don't know what I look like. And I quite like that. Do you know what I mean?
I've lost.
I don't know what you're talking
Absolutely
about.
lost.
Just believe me, right? I'm right on this one. It's best if you leave it.
Well, we're not going to leave it. We're going to get you on the poster.
I mainly have to see myself on videotape this morning. That's
Oh,
what
I
made
saw
more.
you know, the animal show I did, the show. I'm doing a video, and I did behind the scenes footage, and I've got you've seen it, haven't you?
I feel a bit Carl on there, isn't he?
Yes, great. It's lovely. He can't believe it. He said, "Is it playing slow?" It's so slow. When I come into the office, going, "All right." That's how you
I'm in head
talk.
as well. I look like I'm looking into a spoon. I'm not happy with it.
I just think that if we're willing if Ricky's willing to use his celebrity profile for the sake of the show,
Yeah.
I'm willing to look like a, you know, let's say a fairly handsome, cool customer. I think at least, the very least, Carl, is that you appear on there as well. You could dress
Are
up
you
smart.
worried that you'll look the worst out of all three of us?
Who am I standing next to? I'm next to Steve. I'm fairly confident.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so predictable. You pull the string because you know what it is. It's
You pull the string.
oh, what were we talking about before? Oh, so yeah, you know the most complaints ever, the Last Temptation of Christ.
I haven't seen it.
What's it? It's Scorsese, isn't it?
It's Martin Scorsese, and I bought the film actually recently because I was intrigued to see it, but I've not actually watched it. But from what I understand, the reason that it was so outrageous is because it has a whole sequence that shows what it would be like if Jesus had lived his life and not martyred himself on the cross, but lived his life as a human being. Part of which is him having sex. And so I think that was chiefly what the outrage was, that it was showing this godly man to be, you know, as human as he was supposedly, you know, because he's supposed to be human as well. So so that's the reason. That was the reason that there was complaints there. I don't know. I haven't seen the film.
Well,
I can't
you
say.
see him, do you?
You see him having sex, I think. Yes.
Although it is an actor, Carl.
Yeah,
I
it's not
must point
actually
out.
Jesus Christ.
It's not the real. It's not the real Robert Powell. It's an actor playing Robert Powell.
It's that, you see, sex on films and all that, right? When I was growing up, and I'd
go.
be watching. No, just saying an example of this, really,
Go on.
right? When I was growing up as a kid, and I'd be, you know, watching films with my dad, right? He'd really be enjoying a film,
Yeah.
right? And then a sex scene would happen,
Right.
and he'd go
On film.
in
Or
the
just
film,
behind you.
in the film, a sex scene would happen,
Your brother up to his old tricks again.
and he'd get up and go make a cup of tea, right?
Right.
Typhoon that he'd stolen from some sort of telephone box.
And like even recently, he thinks it ruins a film. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no need for it to happen, is there? Really?
Yes.
Why?
Sometimes it's warranted. If the film itself is.
Yeah, no,
fundamentally
some
about-
films it isn't though. Some
No,
films it
of
isn't.
course, some films it's arbitrary.
I think the films that him and his dad watched together on Channel 5,
Yeah.
probably not. Is it only on Channel 5
but
in
do
your
you know-
house?
So let's put it, yeah, if you're watching, you know, I don't know, a late night, Friday night, you know,
From
erotic thriller.
1983.
Yeah, illegal briefs. A beautiful lawyer has to defend a man who may be a killer. She falls in love with him, but does she know the real man?
Oh dear.
You know what I mean, though.
Lest you forget, of course, that I,
Love Heat. With the bloke that is now in. Go on.
you know, of course, that I, according to the Internet Movie Database, I once appeared in one of those films, in the film Killer Image, a Canadian film, I believe, from 1989. According to that computer,
It's all wrong,
website.
isn't it?
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong.
Of course it is. Yeah. Apparently, I was in that, and I played the role of Kirk.
Was it a porn thing?
No, I think it's just an erotic thriller.
Oh, right.
That I suppose it
You only
is.
had a very small part though, didn't you?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't need to go that far. Say like in this Jesus program, right?
Film.
What's it called?
The Last Temptation of
You're
Christ.
just not talking. You know what? What's his name? Is it Ralph in The Simpsons?
Yes.
I drawed a kitty cat. It's like talking to that.
Yeah.
No, but right, this temptation thing, right?
Do you know, often we don't get that many complaints on this show. We don't get very many complaints. And I think that's either because there's no listeners, or B, it's because most people agree with Carl, and that
I
terrifies
know.
me.
Or they let him off because it's like, you know, you can plead insanity, you can go mental and
Yeah.
kill for you, but they go, oh, he's a bit backward.
No, but was it because like they're saying that he was having it away, or is it because you saw it? What got the complaints?
The complaint was the very suggestion.
It was a
that
suggestion.
Christ
It was
himself would
a
be having
blasphemous
sex.
thing, not the fact that you saw an actor's knob
So what about if you just cut it down a bit and you like saw the little stable door closing?
It wasn't the baby Jesus having sex. It was the grown man.
The stable door shutting!
No, but you know what
the
they do?
nativity scene.
Ah, that is brilliant. That is...
then-
The wise men saying, I can't believe we brought myrrh, we should have brought condoms.
No, yeah. There's 2 for 1 offering.
That's not what we were thinking. With frankincense.
It's just that it's always awful.
Should we
isn't it?
apologise now to the Christian church as well? Sorry, the little Chinese fellas, little Welsh fellas, and the little Christian fellas.
We haven't said anything wrong.
No.
It's like, you see, when I was growing up,
Stable door. I love the idea that in Carl's world, he was born in a stable, just thought, well, I love this place.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay here the rest of my days.
This is good here. Oh, brilliant.
but when I was watching telly with my mum and dad, I mean, it still happens now, right? My dad will sort of go, oh, ruined, good film ruined, right, if some sex scene happens.
But why doesn't he
But
just
what are we
ignore
talking
it?
about sex scene? Are we talking about kissing or are we talking about penetration and looking at the camera? Going,
just-
are you enjoying this, Pilkingtons? What are we talking about? What is sort of extreme levels are we talking about?
Right, last time I was down there, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black is a terrible film. Yeah.
There was it's a good film, and then you know it's going to happen because like the music comes in. Brad Pitt's keeping quiet. A woman's ironing up.
Sure.
So my mum's worked it out already, and she's going. Anything on the other side, love?
She knows. She
She
knows.
knows it's something's.
So you can be enjoying the film and you can be an hour and 10 in, and then some spidey senses of one of them can go, should we turn it over? And the other one goes, yeah, all right.
Are you sure it's not them protecting you from scenes of sex? So what they're thinking is, what if Carl gets the idea to have sex?
Yeah.
That could lead to procreation. We don't want any more like him.
Yeah.
We've got to end the line here.
You sure it's not the doctor? Keep calling out going, you are keeping away from
exactly.
women, aren't you?
You must never find out.
Are you
how
sure they're
it's
not
done.
embarrassed because they're watching a sex scene with their son?
It happens every time, right? There's 2 things that my mum does, right? It's that if there's sex scene on the telly, she'll go, anything on the other side, love? And the other thing she always says, if ever there's anything on the telly with Elvis in it,
Yeah.
she goes, oh, I like him, right? And we all know, we sat there, we know what she's going to say next.
Yeah.
So you don't even bother saying why, right? And she goes, he liked fat, ugly people.
He what?
He liked fat, ugly people. He didn't always go for, like, the good-looking fans in the crowd.
What Elvis did?
Yeah.
Right.
That was always the thing, and
I'm sorry, no, hold on. I don't know what we're doing now with our lives, Steve. Right, wait a minute, right. So, your mum says 2 things, right? She either says...
Is there anything else on the
Is there
website?
anything- Or, I like Elvis. There's a pause, because you know what she's going to say next. She says, he liked fat, ugly people. How often does this occur?
well, because they've got, like, Sky, there's a lot of those channels on. They're like the music channels. So Elvis always comes on. There's either an Elvis film, there's like, a classic hit by him on.
And she'll go, I like Elvis, he likes fat, ugly people. And what do you mean he likes fat, ugly people?
Is she a fat ugly person?
Because there's that special Vegas show, isn't there, where he's dancing about, right? And he's got loads of scarves around his neck.
Towels.
Yeah. And, like, he always hands them down to the fat, ugly ones. And I always say it's because they're the fat, they got a sweaty face because they can't, you know what I mean?
I don't know what world they
I
live
don't know
in.
how we've gone to this subject.
What sort of world are you going when you're watching this thing? And what do you mean fat, ugly ones? You mean they're in the front, they're sweating a lot because they're a bit
Yeah, so
chubby?
she thinks, it's giving them a towel because it's
He's
right.
really going, wipe your face, you're putting me off, you
Yeah.
fat cow. Stop sweating near me.
There's another one.
What?
So, hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We haven't slagged off hairy Chinese kids. We slagged off Chinese. We didn't slag anyone off. We just said they really haven't got a town as such, and they wear shoes. What do we say?
Yeah, wooden shoes.
And what did the
I just don't know how we got onto Elvis and big fat ugly women. I don't know I don't know how we
Did you
sidestepped from the Last Temptation of
see? Did
Christ.
you see that fat Girls and Feeders
Go on in a
program?
minute.
Eh?
What's on Petty first?
Oh, brilliant! It's a great song.
How
Breakdown.
many
Tom
other
Petty.
radio shows that talks about Last Temptation of Christ, Chinatown,
Yeah.
fat ugly women?
More
Yeah.
than 60 minutes.
Exactly. Incredible. So
Cheering Breaks, Painkiller on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington.
I should point out now, Rick, that the general consensus from the listeners is that Carl should definitely be on the poster.
But I know that.
obviously.
I know.
There's an interesting email
Of course
here.
they should.
It
They're
just
right.
says, I'd love to see Carl on the poster, especially as I'm watching him on the webcam today, and wearing that shirt, doesn't he look like Charlie Brown? He looks just like Charlie Brown from the Peanuts cartoon.
Oh my God.
That's it. From now on, if anyone ever asks me what
He
Carl
does
looks
look like Charlie Brown. Oh, I just,
Just
it's
like-
great because Charlie Brown has got that thing, you've got less features than Morph. It's just a round head and there's human aspects. It's just the bare minimum. When I draw a cartoon of him, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Ah,
The thing is, right, if I go on the poster, this is what I'm worried about. Where do you go from there?
what do you mean?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Do you know, like before, you were talking about the complaint that a TV channel got about some fella putting bacon? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was me.
Yeah, you were talking about a
I
fella
didn't
who-
put the bacon on, but yeah, I was talking about it and
Yeah.
it got a complaint, yeah.
Right. Now, he had to do that to get a kick. Yeah?
Yeah.
Where do you go from there? And it's the same for me on a poster. Once they've seen me,
Yeah. And we get sued by the estate of Charles M. Schultz for using without copyright his most popular creation.
Oh,
it's just that if people don't know, it keeps them interested. They don't need to
They're
know
not
what
tuning
I'm
in
like.
every week on the off chance that we'll...
They're wondering what you look like.
Yeah, but the ones who are, it just keeps them...
They won't let them down though when they see your picture. It won't let them down. It won't be a letdown.
It's exactly as it should
Leave
be.
it. Anyway, competition, yeah?
Right, let's get the answers. Let's get this out of the way. Song's the phrase.
Song's a phrase, just in case you just tuned in, it's a new feature we've been doing. We take songs and chop them up and that, and it's a phrase that's cropped up on the show a few times. This week we were going back to the classic Me Auntie I'd Win for 5 minutes.
That's the classic.
And let's have a,
These are the
have a
answers,
listen.
is it? Okay.
Right, so what you had there is you had the Knack
Yeah.
with My Sharona.
Uh-huh.
Auntie was some Manson track.
What? You don't even know what it was.
Auntie Everything, I think it's called, some album track, right? Then you had Bill Medley, Jennifer Warnes, I've Had the Time of My
Yeah.
Life. You had Bob Dylan,
Wind.
Wind,
Idiot wind.
Blowing in the Wind.
Oh, blowing in the wind, was it?
What was after that? Four was 2468
Bob Dylan.
Motorway. 2468 Motorway.
Yeah.
Tom Robinson.
Tom
Yeah.
Robinson, yeah. That was the 4. Then you had the 5 from Manfred Mann, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We wrapped it up with a bit of 5-star
Yeah.
for Minute, something about,
Can't wait.
yeah, I can't wait another
Can't
minute.
wait another minute.
So, they're the answers.
Yeah,
We're
well,
looking for someone who, I don't think we got anyone who had them all right, but
Nobody got all 7, although in your little answer list then you only listed 6 because
Yeah.
you got your numbers went out of sync in your own brain. Well done, once again. Smooth. I tell you what, Carl, why don't you next week at least write down the answers for yourself?
don't need to.
Well, you clearly do because you get to embarrass yourself.
Don't need to. You've proved that you do.
Right,
okay.
anyway. Well done. I'm going to give it to Paul Tier, PJ Tier, because he got 5 of the 7.
Well
correct.
done.
So he gets.
And he's getting that signed Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, if you
DVD.
can just email us your address as well and get them off to you today.
All right.
Brilliant.
That's what you're dealing with.
So you've done that. You've done that competition. That's been put to bed. It's,
So let's have a
we've done-
great tune, Rick. And then what else we got? We got some monkey news.
We've got some
we've got monkey news.
We've got cheap as
We're
chimps.
doing the film thing.
Right.
Got the film thing. What film is it this week?
Silence of the Lambs. You can be owning that up by 3 o'clock on VHS.
Is it about $4.99 from here? Is it?
Thereabouts.
th century boy. Come on, Mark. Some people want a 21st century boy these days. Mark Bowden there. A little bit out of date on XFM 104.9. With you today, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington. Right, it's that time again, isn't it? Monkey news.
Yeah, monkey news.
Oh, monkey news.
Right, if you're a new listener, this is where we do a bit of monkey news.
Oh, imagine him giving these charts on a news programme, like News Night Review or News at 10. Over to Carl Pilkington. Yeah, alright. Monkey's gone mad again. Go on.
Right, we've done quite a lot of good stuff. The one that sort of kicked up most of the fuss was probably Ollie the monkey.
I love the fact that they're all monkeys. He's a chimpanzee. It's an ape.
Well, today, right, we're looking at one that's, it's called Coco.
Oh yeah, the sign language one.
Well, what I've read about him is, he speaks, right? Highly educated. Photographer.
Carl!
Right?
I love the fact that when he gets a gifted ape, he has to look up to him. He realises that he is superior. I love that. Oh.
And it also likes going on computer chat rooms.
I can't take this anymore, Steve. I'm gonna be sick. Oh gosh.
Right? That's pretty amazing.
You know, if an infinite number of monkeys are in an infinite number of chat rooms, they'll eventually type, which is your favourite episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Exactly, yeah. Carl Pilkington, you're an idiot.
But the thing is, right, you're saying about the infinite thing again, about monkeys, if you put them in a room with a typewriter, they'll come up with Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I'd sort of agree with that, right, with monkeys who can't do other stuff, but this one I reckon's going to be busy taking pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
I think monkeys that are boring...
Is there a boring monkey? Would you ever have a chimp and you'd go, Suzanne would go, I've got your birthday present, and it's a chimp fella, he's about, about a sort of like a middle-aged chimp.
No, I'd love it, I'm talking
Would you ever
about
go, I'll tell you what, Suzanne, that one's boring.
No, but I bet the monkey would get bored, I mean. Do you know what I mean? The monkey would be bored. I'd be loving it. I'd love to have a little monkey, right? But what I'm saying is...
You really would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you buy him a camera, he'd be happy again, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, but that's just it. You wouldn't get him it's like... If you can do other stuff, you don't want to do the boring stuff.
Forget the typing, forget the monkeys typing. Talk about this monkey that's a photographer.
No,
What
but
you
we
talk-
are in a way. I'm just saying that would be happier. Monkeys that have got nothing else to do, if they can't take pictures and that, and they can't go on chat rooms.
They're happy to sit in a room typing away for infinity, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But he's got maybe a little exhibition to put on.
Do you think...
Do you know that most chimps and apes and monkeys still actually just live in trees? These are in laboratories and zoos and things. You know that's not the norm. These monkeys
Yeah.
walking around sort of chatting and riding bikes.
Yeah.
You know that's not natural.
Exactly.
No, I know, but it's...
If you left a bike in the jungle and then came back a few years later, there wouldn't be monkeys riding around on it. And a book. If you left a bike with a book in the basket, right, and you went away for 10 years and you came back, there wouldn't be a whole new transport system and schools.
No.
They'd eat it. They'd throw it round and eat it.
Alright then, so what you're saying is you can't... You see, what I think is, right, and don't take this the wrong way in that, right, Stephen Hawking,
Yes.
right, now he had a bad illness. Now, I wonder if he'd be as bright as he is if he didn't have that.
Right.
Because he's had time to sit down, he's like, well, what can I do?
Yeah.
I've gone and give him a book. And he read it. I like that. Give us another one.
Yes.
He's got a lot of time on his hands.
Yes.
Now, what I'm saying is, monkeys... Yeah,
Right.
This one here, Coco, which I think was a gorilla,
Right.
right? That wouldn't have been happy on a little keyboard, just doing that all
Typing
day,
away.
because it'd be going, well, I could be out taking pictures.
Sure.
Play a record!
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Play a record!
Yeah.
Done.
You're an idiot!
There it was. There's the catchphrase. Once more.
He is! He's an idiot!
Sure.
Athlete, El Salvador, on XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais. With me, the amazing Steve Merchant and the incredible Carl Pilkington. Alright? Right, we've done that. Monkey news. Right, straight. Let's hit them dead. Let's go straight with Cheap as Chimps, Carl.
Right, well, this will probably finish today, to be honest. Right? Because what if we looked at Cheap as Chimps, we found out that...
They eat one banana. Next, go on, do this one.
banana
Yeah,
a day and that.
yeah, that's
Right,
it. Brilliant.
So what...
It was a long-running feature. Go on.
What? Sorry, can I just ask again? What are the rules with Cheapest Chimps?
It's just, you know, if you wanted a chimp, how much would it sort of cost you?
Brilliant. Title come first?
So, yeah,
Yeah.
as always, that's the way we do it. Right? Cheapest chimps. I thought I'll go online and see, you know, if I could buy one. How much do you reckon?
£6,000.
To buy a chimp.
Yeah.
Oh no, ridiculous amount. Where can you buy them from? What sources? You shouldn't be able to buy them.
eBay.
What do you mean, buy a chimp? From who?
There was this website that was selling stuff.
What you could actually...
What are you talking? What are you talking about?
Right, here we go then, right? I looked at it. Here's some of the other animals that were on there.
No, wait a minute. What, are these poachers?
I don't know.
What, zoos that got bored with them? Where can you buy a chimp?
I don't want to give it a plug.
Right,
Some
go on
website, right?
So what are the other animals available?
Right, well, I'll give you some prices with the other animals, then you can try and work out if it's cheap as chimps, right? So, right, a camel. What do you reckon?
£25,000.
Right, $8,000 for a camel, right? Sloth,
40 quid.
$3,000.
Right.
Last one, Bengal tiger,
Oh, that's got to be pricey. $12,000.
$1,800.
What?
Yeah.
Carl, this is an awful website. That can't be true, mate.
Right,
That's
so
awful.
a chimp.
Well, a chimp,
$5,000.
I'm going to go with $1,000.
55,000.
What?
Yeah,
That doesn't make sense.
it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
But I don't know what to say because this is rubbish anyway. What website can you buy? Okay, get me a tiger. Here's £1,000. Get me a tiger.
well, I don't know
You're an idiot.
postage and packages and
Sorry, so where does the cheapest chimps element come in?
well, that's sort
Are
of
you supposed to
rounded up.
shout, it's cheapest chimps at the end?
Well, it isn't. That's why I want to finish the feature.
I don't know what is the cheapest chimps?
Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing broadcasting.
So
We're up for a Sony award, aren't we? I hope they're listening because it's ours.
Yeah.
With features like cheapest chips, it's ending because they're not.
It's in the bag.
And do you remember? Here's Athlete.
The spirits when I need you. This life is more than just a read through.
Can't stop the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Well, I've got news for you, boys. I don't want to stop you. I love your funk rock fusion. Word of warning, no nudity. Repeat, no nudity at this gig.
I do it like you. I think you should host a whole show like that. It's lovely. Have you ever done any like DJ, like proper DJ, like in a pub or a club? Because I know Carl had his. I had my own disco when I was a kid.
Yeah, not proper. I had a gig once when I had to. It was 2 nights a week in the local pub. Just the 2 decks that was in a suitcase. You know, there's those sort of like all-in-one thing. And they just wanted the same records. They wanted Rod Stewart, Baby Jane. They wanted about 11:15 when they were all drunk. They wanted Don McLean's American Pie, which they all sang along
course,
to.
yeah.
Uptown Girl they liked.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't used to do the talking.
Did you do
at
the
all.
patter?
No,
'Cause
I
never
couldn't.
had the-
I just
never had to do the
don't
patter.
understand it. I just love those wedding sort of DJs that they have to give you extra information. They can't just play a song. They have to say things like, "Ooh, all the way back there in the Commodore's easy." It's sort of like they have to tell you something. Who's listening? They're just going to play the next record.
It's
a wedding, yeah.
So I did it. What? There's like the controller of a local radio station listening. It just happens to be at the wedding, thinking, "Hang on."
Hold on, he's played the record, but it's got extra information. Well, I should do useful things at a wedding. Like, will the overweight aunt in the purple dress please now take the floor with little unfortunate kid and let him hop around?
As the dance floor is currently empty, will any 8-year-old boys wearing those tiny tuxedos please slide across the dance floor on their knees? Until they are taken home and put to bed early.
I went to one once, and the bloke who'd hired it went to the DJ, and this DJ that'd come with this sort of party wanted a 70s disco, and he looked like Woody Allen, right? And I was sure he used to be a gentleman's outfitters, like, and he said, "Oh, I wanted a 70s disco," and he went, "Well, I've got Bicycle Race by Queen lined up, I've got ELO, and I've got Cliff We Don't Talk Anymore, so," and he went, "Well, I went sort of more disco." He went, "I don't really want to blow all my Earth, Wind and Fire before 10. It's like, all planned.
There are rules. Will the 17-year-old girl who's dressed like Avril Lavigne please tut loudly because I still haven't played anything by Linkin Park?
Will the 45-year-old woman recently divorced please cry now?
Yeah.
Please cry now.
Please cry now because it's clear you're never going to find another man. Because you used to be a DJ, didn't you? Because there is a sort of rule. Definitely, I remember there was like, you know, what I learned was that there are certain tunes you just do not play early on. Oh, What a Night, for instance.
Dun, 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 yeah.
People, you never play that before like 11. You want that last hour before they've got to go home to be non-stop dancing.
When would you pop on Dancing Queen?
Interesting, thanks for that. Is there a buffet being served?
Yes.
Yeah, well, definitely post-buffet. I remember there was great days. I was reminded this recently by ITV's Reborn in the USA. There was a great time where you could come out of the buffet or any kind of speech with a bit of Gina G. Who, I remember there was a great period for a couple of years where that was always a barnstormer.
Sure.
Sadly, no longer the case. What about, because the danger is, of course, you go back to the 70s, maybe you got Dancing Queen, but how many do you play before you come into the 80s with perhaps Billie Jean?
Or Soft Cell.
Soft Cell's always a classic, yeah. I'd love to hear that. And, because there's always controversy now, as to whether Love Shack is overplayed. I know that's a big discussion.
I've never liked it. No, I just like, will any 35-year-old men please now dance ironically to Bombastic in the vain hope that someone will actually find them attractive?
What did
Love
you...
Shack, oh no, never liked
Come
it.
on, Eileen?
I never, yeah, alright, I just never liked any records that with a hint of novelty about them.
They are popular though, they're floor fillers.
I hate them. I just...
You haven't done DJing now, have you?
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Singing
You
on the other
haven't
side of
done
your
it,
face.
have you?
Yeah,
Have you?
yeah,
And you didn't play Dexter's Midnight Runners?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't plan it out that much when I did it. It was like, I knew I had the tights and cigars to give away.
Yes. Yeah.
Which he
That's a
stole
raffle.
from his parents' bedroom beforehand.
Yeah.
Why were you giving away stuff at a disco anyway? Why were you just playing records?
Because people liked it, didn't they? If it wasn't...
It hasn't changed. We're doing this. We talk rubbish, we play records, and we give away crap that we found.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed, has it?
And, see, I had some good time. For people who haven't been listening all the time, it was called Pilkins Making Music.
Yeah.
It was like Pilkington, and my mate was called something Making, and the music is what we played, right? And I had some cards made, had some nice blue glossy cards made, but they were quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I used to hand them out, and then they'd say cheers for that, and say no, write it down, write the number down, I want that back.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Because they were quite pricey.
Yeah. Classy
Had that done.
businessman there.
Saved your person used to do that.
I think so, yeah.
Saved a bit of money because my dad made some lights for me. He just like
He said he made them, he found them in a telephone box. People were making phone calls in the dark.
Yeah.
Round the neighbourhood.
Exactly.
it was just white bulbs in like a box, and like my mate making, he used to just flick them on and off like the thing, and then they'd be in time with the music and that. And
Perfect.
Well, you had to sit there.
I love that. I love that. We got our sound to light system. What's his name? Colin.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right. So
Did you ever rent him out?
Right, well, we never had any disasters, right? But my mate did one, right? And I don't know if it's that funny really, but it. Well, that's to tell you anyway, right? He was doing this gig, and it was probably one of the biggest gigs, right, that he ever had. Must have been a couple of hundred people there, and in like a big sort of warehouse thing. Anyway, for some reason, there was some problem with a big speaker that fell, right? So the police turn up and stuff.
Right.
And they try to control the night, and they're going, can everyone sit down? We try to control it. Can you sit down? So anyway, you get a few like little groups of people sitting down on the floor, and people still stood up, and the police were saying, look, you know, we're going to cancel this whole night if you don't all sit down. And more people are sort of sitting down. It's going on for about 20 odd minutes, right? Will you please sit down? And it gets to this point when there's just one lad stood up in the middle, and he's going, look, you're ruining it for everyone. Will you sit down? And it goes quiet for a bit, and someone's muttering something, and he goes, the lad standing up has got calipers on his legs. Can we have a round of applause for the kid?
Who said that?
It was this lad who was doing the DJ. He was the DJ. So like they kept the police and everything were saying, will you sit down? You're ruining it for everyone else.
Dear. You know, the quick way to sort that out would have been to play James.
Yeah.
Or sit down. Yeah.
But most of mine were, I had good nights.
Yeah.
Always got rebooked and stuff, and
I had a bunch of Venture Scouts went mental once, had a food fight.
What were you playing to Venture Scouts for?
Well, we got booked by everyone, Rick. We started with weddings and local, you know, things, but we soon went up. At one point we played a massive gig in a big tent in the middle of nowhere for some scouts, and they absolutely loved us. Rage Against the Machine. Oh, they couldn't believe their luck.
Do you know when they say weddings and bar mitzvahs, Do they get a lot of discos playing bar mitzvahs? Is that a big? I don't know.
so.
What happens at a bar mitzvah?
Well, I've not never been to a bar mitzvah.
Could
Not
someone
been invited.
phone in if you had a little bar mitzvah? Tell me what it was like. What did you play at bar mitzvah? I don't know what the occasion is really. It's becoming a man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. We learned something, won't we, Carl?
Yeah, alright, do you want them to phone in?
Yeah.
Do we?
Well, I want to know if they really do have DJs at bar mitzvahs.
Alright.
Oh wait,
How interested are you in that?
Well, you know, I don't want to embarrass myself one day.
Sure.
It's Carl, you've got to learn, haven't you?
I'll tell you what, have we got time for the film thing as well?
Yeah, play the film thing now.
No, let's play a tune. Let's play a
play
tune.
tunes, play tunes.
Oh, I can't believe my luck.
Bit of Cure?
Yeah. Forest, The Cure, on XFM 104.9. Wow, brilliant. Someone called in, she's been to a bar mitzvah, and they do have apparently a crap disco. And apparently,
What happens?
well, Carl asked her what happens. She said, you just sit around and see the kid who's getting bar mitzvah, or the man now, get given loads of money.
Right.
And I said, is there a female equivalent? And apparently there is a female equivalent of a bar mitzvah, but she didn't know what it was called.
What's that? A bar titzvah.
Right, I'm just going to add to the list of people we've offended. Sorry to Jewish people as well.
Yeah, we've got.
So sorry to Jewish people, sorry to Chinese people, sorry to Welsh people.
Ugly fat women.
Well, don't put the Welsh in twice. Sorry to Elvis fans.
Elvis fans. Animal lovers.
Animal lovers. Brilliant. Well, lovers of great radio.
Yep.
Those, music lovers. Good, well, sorry about that.
Apologies to all of you.
Thank yeah, and
We haven't even had time for, we haven't got time for the film thing this week.
oh, why not?
Just, it's running tight, really.
You sure?
We haven't done Cheeky Freak of the Week.
New
Yeah,
feature, innit?
that's a new feature.
Cheeky freak of the week. Let's do cheeky freak of the week. What is the cheekiest freak of the week? So I'm just going to apologise now. Just add freaks. Sorry to freaks. Okay, right, go ahead.
Well, we've sort. I say it's a new feature, but we've sort of touched on it in the past with
We always talk about freaks.
Hairy Chinese Kid.
Yeah.
We've had the Pillow Man.
Yeah. Oh, you call the draft excluder?
Just make a note of that, would you, Rick? On
Yeah.
this?
People without arms and legs.
But at least, you see, the Pillow Man, what do you picture? Because I was saying to Ricky in the week, right, I'm a great fan of the Elephant Man.
That's his. You know, that's his favourite freak.
Oh,
the
of
Elephant
all the
Man.
freaks, that's
Do you know why he said? Do you know why he said? He said because you get what you pay for. When someone says the Elephant Man, you get what it says on the tin. You know you're going to get it.
Do you imagine, Steve, if you had a mate and you said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to see my mate. And you go, which mate? And he said, the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Straight away, you haven't even met him, but you know what he's going to look like.
Yes.
Right? That's what I like about that. Hairy Chinese Kid.
Yeah, you know what you're going
Pillow Man.
Yeah, not so good.
What does that mean?
It could be one of those big fat things on that show, couldn't it? A big pillow, like a.
Yeah.
You know, they had that big thing about the fat people in feeders. They were getting up to like 60 stone and that big one. And there's a thing called fat admirers that just fancy fat women, right? And
You writing that down?
yeah, sorry, and they had blow up versions. It looked like a bouncy castle.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You'd be knackered when you blew that up.
Yeah,
you just wouldn't want to go forget it.
Yeah.
Oh God,
That's
wow.
people being cruel as well, isn't it? Because after watching the programme on Channel 4 about the fat people and fellas who like them and stuff, there was a story on one of the news websites about some fella in Germany, right? He was a big fella, must have been about 50 stone, and he fell over, right? And I think he hurt his ankle or something. And
Timber.
they sent firemen instead of like an ambulance.
Yeah.
So straight away they're having a bit of a laugh.
They're not. No, they've got winching gear.
Well, they didn't know. They didn't have winching gear. They had to use the hose pipes to carry him out. I think it was Anna Nova, that news website. They had to use the hose pipes, so they made like a bed using the hose pipes
Oh yeah.
and had to carry him out on that. And then they had to sort of get him into a special truck, they said, and do the same when they got to the hospital. I mean, that's a bit...
That's mad, isn't it?
They shouldn't do that.
Although, Carl, I'm loving that story. I'm just worried that we're not going to be able to fit in Cheeky Freak of the Week.
What's the
which
cheeky
is one
freak of the
you
week?
nominated?
Alright, cheeky freak of the week. Something I found on the net.
Yeah.
Fella who had 27 toes and fingers.
In a jar?
No, still on him. And proper ones as well, not like little stumps and that. Proper, fully formed fingers. He
Was
had
it-
like...
Was he a pianist? Close-up magician?
I don't know what he did, he just said that is...
Cat's cradle professional?
Did he ever work on finger bobs?
He was saying in the week.
For the crowd scenes.
I'm now going to do Braveheart. He said about the Elephant Man. He said, I want to do a thing like with freaks where it's good and bad. He went, what did you said? The pro about him is
What about the fella with loads of fingers, or...?
no, the Elephant Man.
Well, he...
He said the bad thing is he stretches his jumpers.
When he puts them on. Yeah. And what's the good thing?
sort of... He never gets up and goes, oh, my hair's a bit of a mess today.
No. He's always having another bad face day.
I don't complain about his head and shoulders. Are you taking the piss?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So that's freaky...
Didn't you see an elephant woman in Manchester?
Yeah, leave that.
What do you mean, leave it?
No, because it is sad.
I know it's sad, but I mean, I don't know what my next sentence is.
No, people always
That
think...
should be the end.
Did
I don't need to
it?
say anymore, people will know what she looks like. It's a good name for her.
Did she like buns? Oh dear.
It was when it's when my dad was a taxi driver and I used to sit in the front,
Yeah.
and she used to get a lot of taxis. And
And he only charged you half price, didn't he? He was a good guy.
well, the bad thing is as well with people like that, you don't want to offend them because they never forget.